All right, I think I'm live. Am I live? Okay. Just check the sound.
I'm not supposed.
All right. I'm going to cut that off at the beginning. All right, we are live. Welcome to Hollywoke Hot Take Live, where we do it live. I'm Tony D, and this is Little Joan. You okay, Little Joan? She's been good today. Good little dog. All right. Welcome. It is 6:59. So as always, the pregame is my week. How was my week? It was pretty interesting. Last week, I of course announced that me and the girlfriend were splits, but right after the live stream, well, within I guess 24 hours, we were back together. We worked everything out, so that was good. Good start. And then we had dinner the other night. That was really nice. So things are back on track. Glad to say. Today and yesterday, I went to the Hamilton Mall in Mays Landing, and it was very interesting. You may have seen my tweet. They had a Forever 21 store there that's closed. So I took a picture of Forever 21, which is completely empty of inventory. It just has the sign, and I wrote liars. And so if you ever want to see a dying mall, I think that's the Hamilton Mall. It's dying. But that being said, there was like a decent amount of people. Surprisingly, I don't think people are done with malls. I think people kind of like malls, not for the reasons we used to. Like in the 80s, we went to malls because that was kind of the only place. People went shopping. We didn't have the internet. So you'd go shopping, maybe. I mean, the girls would go shopping. The guys would just sort of hang out. We'd go to the arcade. We'd get some food, ogle some of the hot girls, and then go to the movies or something. These days, the mall is a dying entity because the stores don't make a lot of money. Like the storefronts don't seem to do well, and I hear it's still pretty expensive to have a storefront, even in a mall. So a lot of the stores are done. I'm getting text. A lot of storefronts are just done. So the only thing that's really surviving in malls is that there's a lot of food places in the mall. So still, even at this mall, which is kind of out in the sticks a little bit, sort of most of the way down the shore, and so they have like an Auntie M's and a pizza place. They had a sushi place. I don't know if I want to eat sushi in a mall that's not in California. Like California sushi mall or mall sushi was pretty awesome when I went out there. But they live in land of sushi. I mean, California, they got little Tokyo and stuff. So little Vietnam, little China, little Asia, everything. So you can get some really good sushi in California, even in the mall. But here, I don't know. I mean, it was all you can eat. I was tempted, but they had an Auntie M's. I don't know if you remember Auntie M's. It's a pretzel place. They sell like soft pretzels, which I'm fine with, but then they sell these pretzels with like cream cheese in them. I'm not fine with that. Like cream cheese in the pretzel. What is that? It's not a bagel. What else did they have? They had a pizza place, and I don't know what else. People were carrying these blue boxes with sandwiches in them. A lot of people had that. And I think there might have been a food court, but I didn't really get away from my table too much. I was across from a mobile phone guy who was definitely not from this country, and he spent all day on his phone. And I had some really nice encounters. I had a couple of fans came out just to see me. That was nice. I had a few people who were on the Kindle Unlimited promised to get my books. I had a dude tip me $20 for no reason. Thank you for that. Merry Christmas to me. Indie Phantom is here. I declare Hollywood officially dead. It seems we do that every week here. Yeah, Hollywood's in rough shape. I mean, forgive the violent imagery, but Hollywood is a bloody mess. The box office this week is just a bloody mess. It really is. Oh, I forgot to call up my list. I got to get my list up. Hold on. We have to remember Rob Reiner this week for his movies. Sorry about that. I should have called this up earlier. Okay. So, get that ready to go. Okay. I don't want you to see the list yet. Don't look at the list. Sorry. I should have had that ready. So, yeah, we're going to do Rob Reiner. We'll do some Christmas stuff. Indie Phantom just saw a vid where Disney is still paying over $1 million in taxes a year on a failed Star Wars hotel. Well, the thing cost $1 billion. I mean, they still own it. It's still standing. I don't know what the hell they're doing with it. I guess they're remodeling it as a hotel. LeMay is here. Did everyone see the Playgirl SpongeBob billboard? I did not. Did he have a SpongeBob weenus? Indie Phantom, heard even Avatar underwhelms. Avatar, they've been talking about Avatar for about a month now, starting with James Cameron. James Cameron was the first to crack. He said something like, well, I don't know if I'm going to do the fourth Avatar movie if this one doesn't do well. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. That sounds like they did the secret Hollywood math and they're like, uh-oh, this is not going to bode well. Maybe they got a magic 8-ball. I don't know. But they somehow predict the box office. I don't think they predicted good things for Avatar domestically. LeMay, he had a bow over his crotch. Oh, a bow over his crotch. Sorry. That's weird that they would do that with SpongeBob. Indie Phantom, the hotel was useless because no pool or food court, and it was like an immersive trap for guests. Yeah, it was supposed to be like a spaceship. See, I think what they did, I think that concept could have worked, but I think they just charged way too much money and tried to do way too much. Indie Phantom, no bueno for Avatar. I think what they could have done, like I would have been perfectly fine with a hotel that was slightly more expensive, and you would hear the hum of the engines, and you would have a window that would look out to a fake, obviously a screen with this, stars and planets going by, and the staff is in costume. That's it. How much could that possibly cost? You go down to the hotel bar and they have wacky drinks and food, but like regular people could come into. Like, you don't have to go too nuts with it. They went berserk. They spent $1 billion on it. How do you expect to recoup your money on $1 billion investment when the $1 billion in a hotel? That's insane. That's like way too much money. For $1 billion, I want the hotel to actually be a spaceship. And for $1 billion, you could probably make a spaceship. Indie Phantom, let's face it, no original Star Wars theme park is a moron idea. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants the original Star Wars. And Kathleen Kennedy is so effing stubborn that she thinks, and this was talked about, 2 years ago. And the rumor was, this was from Doomcock, and the rumor was this, that Kathleen Kennedy and her minions' plan was to eventually replace all of Star Wars. Now imagine you own a company and you spent, I believe they spent $2 billion on Star Wars or $4 billion. I think they spent $4 billion and Lucas got $2 billion or something like that. It was in the billions though. Now imagine you spend that kind of money and the first thing the woman in charge decides to do is replace all the characters you just paid for. How insane is that? At the very least, you want to milk all those characters for all they're worth. I mean, even if you're just looking at a cynical, money-making, money-grubbing way, you want to say, let's milk this puppy. And everybody loves the old Star Wars characters. There's no reason there couldn't have been both, except I believe that deep down, Catherine Kennedy knew her ideas were crap. She couldn't admit it to herself, but deep down she knew, in her heart of hearts, her ideas weren't nearly as good as the phenomenon of Star Wars. And it was a phenomenon, which is partly a good idea, but partly an accident. So it was partly timing, it was partly a lot of different factors, and the time period that it was in. And her insane ego to think, oh, well, we'll spend the next few years replacing the characters with our own, and everybody will just accept that and like them as much as the other characters. That's an insane idea. That is complete and utter contempt for talent. That is a woman who thinks these blocks are completely interchangeable. And this is what's wrong with everything at Disney, in my opinion. Indie Phantom, all the crap they made in just 10 years since Force Awakens. It's all crap. Everything, I would say, even the prequels are crap. That's just me. I mean, I think Lucas was away too long. Kind of lost his mojo. Needed someone who, I don't know, maybe was younger, had some new ideas. J.J. Abrams was a bad choice as well. Initially, maybe you could have said, well, for the first movie, he would have been an okay choice because he's really good at like rehashing everything. Like that first Star Trek movie's not bad at all. It's very watchable. And it could have set the groundwork for a completely new universe of Star Trek with a completely new cast. If he had diverged in the second movie and just done something completely original that had nothing to do with Khan or, any of the other characters. But instead, he just went right back into the same pattern, recast everybody. Indie Phantom, prequels were bad and only looked better when we saw what Disney did. Yeah, and I still hate them. I hate them. The Phantom Menace sucks. It's boring. It's stupid. I don't know why. I just walked out of the theater and went, done, like George Costanza and Seinfeld. I was like, done. And my friends were like, my friends and I had gone to see that after watching all the Lord of the Rings movies together. And they're like, what do you mean you're done? I'm like, I'm not seeing the other two movies. This sucks. Oh, they went to go see it, though. Indie Phantom, yeah, first Trek was fine. Yeah. Now, it wasn't great, but it was good enough that you could have done something with it. You could have taken the next movie and just said, okay, this is the way the Star Trek universe is now. These are the guys in it, and we're going to make a new Star Trek with a new threat. In fact, you could have gone back into the old TV show and brought back one of the old threats from that. Like, you could have taken, like, there's a character called the Squire of Gothos. He's one of these godlike beings, or Apollo. Apollo was in one. There are all these different godlike characters you could have brought back from the past. Would have been fine. Would have been cool, and you could have reintroduced them. And Indie Phantom, it proved that one trilogy was more than enough. Yeah, and I think with Star Wars, whatever George had, in his original notebook, probably would have been the way to go. I think he revamped things for kids and based partly... I think where things went wrong for George was when he did the third movie. When he did Return of the Jedi, I remember fans really blasting the Ewoks. They didn't like the Ewoks. They thought it was a total sellout, but they accepted it because it was the third movie and it was over. Indie Phantom, I heard the Star Trek series are not cool. Very not cool from what I've seen. I've seen clips. Discovery, Strange New Worlds. Again, it's all about undoing the previous stuff and trying to make you forget that and say, no, 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 this is different. And this is how retarded these people are. Most people, if you're talking about a modern audience, they didn't see the old series, right? So some kid who's 25, he decides to watch Star Trek. He didn't see the old series, probably. He might have heard of it. But, okay, you want to make it for him. That's fine. But don't undo the old one just to make the new one. There's no need for it. Star Trek, this is how limited and uncreative these people are. Star Trek is a limitless universe. Star Wars is Star Wars is even bigger. Star Wars, the canon of Star Wars covers thousands of years. Thousands. So you could do anything with Star Wars. You could go to any point in time. But they keep retreading the old thing while at the same time trying to destroy what they're retreading. So they simultaneously undermine the old stuff while trying to replace it with the same kind of thing. They're so uncreative. That's what they do. I mean, look at Discovery. Look at, not Discovery, Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds, it's the same show. It's just Star Trek redone. That's it. That's all it is. And it's, in my view, terrible. The moment they announced there was a musical, I was like, this whole concept's dead. They did puppets. They don't know what they're doing. These are theater people trying to do science fiction. They don't know science. These people all failed science. Or they think it's racist. Or they were hired for their race or sexuality. Mostly because I think a lot of them are women. They hired a bunch of women just so they could prove to everybody, hey, we hired women. Women who apparently hate Star Trek. And I think that was part of it too. I think part of the interview process, and this has been documented a few times, they hire people who dislike what went before. Not just don't know it. They actively dislike it. Oh, do you like Star Trek? No, I don't like it. Well, you sound perfect. You sound perfect. Hey, we're running a baseball team. Oh, I hate baseball. Well, that sounds great. Maybe you can reimagine baseball for us and tell us what we're doing wrong. And that's the other thing, too. These people, they're like, well, you have a new voice. No, they don't have a new voice. They don't know what they're doing. It's not a new voice. That's like saying, I have a race car and I'm hiring a driver, but he can't drive. But he has a new way of driving. I think he'll discover it. He doesn't have a new way of driving. He can't drive. He doesn't know how to drive. He shouldn't be hired. These people never should have been hired. The people who should have been hired from Star Trek and Star Wars, more so for Star Trek, the people who worked on Futurama would have been great Star Trek writers. They were all super smart. Some of them had PhDs, or at least knew enough to consult with PhDs in terms of the science. They would know how to write science fiction based on some amount of science. They didn't hire those people. They hired woke idiots who had to write politics and then would insert that in the story with nothing else, in my opinion. Indie Phantom, Return of the Jedi was a huge step down. I recognized that at age 13. Rey sucks so bad. Mary Sue times 1,000. Wyman, the Force is female, Tony. Is this the live stream? Is this live stream also on Blue Sky? Obviously not. It hasn't been banned from the internet. That would be pretty funny. I don't even know how to do that. I haven't successfully put the live stream on any other platform. I've attempted a couple of times and it's always gone horribly wrong. I keep trying to. The problem is OBS, which I'm using right now, and I'm really unfamiliar with the other. I got to get a new shareware program to do live streams, because apparently the guys who run OBS hate Rumble because they are apparently woke too and have TDS. So they refuse to integrate Rumble into the OBS thing. And I assume Bitchute has live streams now too. I haven't quite figured out that one. And X does. I assume they hate X and Rumble. I'm not sure about Bitchute. Maybe I can get on Bitchute. Maybe I'm on it right now. I attempted to integrate StreamYard. That didn't work. I somehow downloaded some of the software. I don't know what I'm doing, is the bottom line. Jeez, I've been ranting for a while. Let's get to the box office. All right, this is a bloody box office, not to make too finer a point on it, because a bunch of new things opened this week and they just battered each other. So Avatar, which they touted as, or avatared, as Indie Phantom would say, which they touted as making $100 million initially, and then they lowered their expectations to 85 to 95. Looks like it's at 88. Indie Phantom, Rumble has some good live stream and less censored. Yeah, I would like to get on it, but I tried to do a live stream just on Rumble. I think I succeeded one time doing that with the old software. I don't know. They keep changing the damn software. They changed the damn... sound like an old man, but they changed the damn software on my phone again and really pissed me off, and it messed me up for the week. Indie Phantom, avatared fire and ass. Excuse me. Yeah, I hate Avatar, as you all know. Oh my God, though. International box office, $257 million. Well, this is why they're touting it as a great success overseas. So now we're making money for China. Or India, I assume. Let's see. Do we have any numbers yet? We don't have any numbers for the international box office. I would guess this did well in China. 345 million worldwide, but only 88 here. So people aren't digging it here, but overseas they like it because it's super expensive and it looks cool. And they can't make those kinds of movies overseas yet, but they're damn close. I would say the Indian cinema is about, I'm going to say about 10 to 15 years behind in terms of the CGI. It's not bad, but it's not perfect yet. Some of it's still very clunky. Even the high-priced Indian cinema is still a little bit clunky. But it's getting there. Indie Phantom, basically they are funding the CCP because they're not getting much of that cash. Well, yeah, you said they're only getting a quarter of it. Indie Phantom, I take issue, Tony. Blue tards don't look cool. Well, yeah, what is it? Dancing with Smurfs, South Park called it when the first movie came out. I just hate Avatar. It sucks. It sucks so much. I mean, everything with it is bad. The story's bad. The cast, even Sigourney Weaver's terrible in it. I don't connect with the aliens at all in the movie. It's too bright. It's too... I completely disconnect from the characters the moment they all turn into aliens. You know, the Simpsons parody of Avatar was really on point. They had a wacky alien animal to replace every military weapon that the humans had. I hate unobtainium. I hate it. It's just everything in that movie sucks. And it all seems to be derivative from some other movie. Indie Phantom. It just sucks. Gregory Collins is here. Welcome, Gregory. Repurpose malls into giant food courts and entertainment centers. I think they'll eventually head down that direction. I said Netflix should buy up some of these places and turn it into like a Netflix center with mostly food and movies. But I don't think they're really interested in making that move yet. I think they're waiting for it to all die, and then they're going to buy it for the, they're being corporate about it. They're like, we're going to wait until they're desperate, and then we're going to buy it for like pennies on the dollar. But by that time, you got to dig yourself out of the hole, right? So like the Hamilton Mall that I was just at is basically dead. It's basically dead. There's still a few stores open. A bunch of the food places are still open. There were people in it for the weekend because it was mostly, there were old people. There was two ladies who were walking the mall, like for exercise. And they kept coming by my table. I'm going to buy a book next time. Ah. And she didn't buy one, by the way, I don't think. And then there were a lot of just local, I would say they're as broke as me. So they had they didn't have any place to go. And one guy even said to me, like, yeah, when I was a kid, the malls were kind of cool. Now, and they just kind of had no other place to go, so they went to the mall. And Santa was there. That was a big draw because Santa was there. But beyond that, there's not a lot in that mall. There's a couple, I think Macy's is still open and a couple other stores, but that's it. So you could come into a place like that, take over like half of it, build the Netflix center or whatever you want to call it, with like a bar and restaurants and a couple of stores, and then let the rest of the mall just rent out the space, or you take it over and you rent out the space, but kind of keep it local. Like keep part of it local, And I get it, they want to make money, but you need that local connection to appeal to people. If you go too big with it, you kind of drive everybody away because then it becomes soulless. And that's what they do, I think, a lot of times in North Jersey. They just roll in and everything's new. This is what they did with stadiums, right? Like the stadium in Philly. Yeah, you go in there and there are stores and there are restaurants, but it's all super expensive and it's soulless. I don't want to go into those places. Like, I have no interest in going into. I don't have the money. First off, I can't afford to go to a friggin' stadium. And then you go in there and like all the food is like, everything's like $5 more at least. And it's just, why am I there? To just get fleeced because I'm trying to have a good time. But at the same time, it's like the guys who run the place are picking me up by my ankles and shaking me until every dime falls out. It's like, what am I getting out of that? Like, why do you got to make it that crazy? And I paid the park and everything else. So I think it needs to be partly a local phenomenon and to have some local stores in there. But will they do that? No, they don't think of local guys. Indie Phantom. Cameron blew the latter half of his career potential on this universe. Weirdly, still, nobody really talks about them, even online. Yeah, there's no fan base for Avatar at all. Like, I go to shows. I have one time, and that was the first movie, I saw people dressed as the Avatars. That's it. One time. Now, it's a big movie that made a lot of money. You're telling me that's a fan base? There's something very wrong. Or, I don't know. Nobody dresses up as Avatar. No one. There are people who dress up in movies that I didn't even know had a fan base. But Avatar, there's like no desire. None. And they don't look cool. So I kind of can't blame them. And they're kind of hard in terms of a costume. And I think Cameron thinks he's a genius for creating them, but people borrow from other movies and shows and stories and stuff, but like when you talk about Avatar and when you talk about Star Wars, it's really borrowed from other stuff. Now, at least Star Wars, to some extent, even though it borrows from so many different sources, it kind of comes together in such a way it's harder to see them. even though we know some of it's Lord of the Rings, some of it's the Seven Samurai, you know. But I don't know. I guess he borrowed from more classic stuff. Whereas Cameron seems to have borrowed from like stuff that wasn't all that classic. And then still didn't really elevate it. You know, Unobtainium just sticks in my craw every time I think about Avatar. The moment I heard that in the movie, I wanted to walk out because I thought that was so dumb. I thought that was like a slap in the face. If I had been in a meeting with Cameron and he had pitched that, I would have been like, "You're not serious, right?" And when he went, "No, no, no, that's what they would call it," I'd be like, "No, they absolutely would not call it that." Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't exist. So we should not use it. And I would have gotten into a big argument and probably gotten myself fired. LeMay, my guess, all their super fans are overseas. They like spectacle and the story is easy to follow. Yeah. And back in the day, we used to say, this is all the sci-fi nerds, we used to say the Star Wars movies were for the jocks. And the Star Trek stuff was for the true sci-fi aficionados. Because Star Trek was, at least the original series, had so many sci-fi guys on it. It was based on a lot of real science. Star Wars, we just said, oh, we like Star Wars, but, you know, you jocks can watch it if you'd like to dabble in sci-fi. Indie Phantoms. Fern Gully, Dances with Wolves, The Smurfs, and basically every other dumb sci-fi crap. Cameron would have been better off actually making Aquaman. I just, you know, looking at Cameron's rise, like, the Terminator movies are so cool. They're so awesome, and I love them, the two that he made. And then he goes to Titanic, and I'm like, what the F are you doing? You know, or what did he make after that? I guess it was The Abyss, which was okay. But, you know, it was at least in the wheelhouse of kind of what he had made before. But it was sci-fi, it was aliens. But, I mean, Terminator was so badass. And then you just go, I'm done making badass movies now. What? 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 I don't know. I think Cameron would have been better off making anything. But, like, you got to hand it to him. He made a ton of money. And the movies, I mean, they're not making no money. Indie Phantom. Good thing Mark Hamill works hard to keep Luke positive in our memory. Cameron, after T2, is a gradual decline. Yeah. And looking over Rob Reiner's movies, I was kind of surprised I couldn't find 10 of them to really like that he directed. Indie Phantom. The Abyss and True Lies are mixed bags. Aliens was pretty solid. Yeah, the second Alien movie's pretty good. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. You're late. You're late, JEC. Storebang is here. I would rather watch Kirk Cameron movie these days. Ha! JC, did he direct 10 movies? Rob Reiner? Yes, he did. But I only could find 7 of them that I really liked. And I had to pick ones he wrote, stuff he wrote to fill up the other 3. But continuing on with the box office. Number 2 is David for $22 million. Somebody speculated this was going to be number 1 and was competing with Avatar. And I was like, I don't think there's any way David would beat it at the domestic box office. I don't think there's that many religious people left in the United States. But $22 million isn't bad. That's not the worst start. Probably took away a little bit from Avatar simply because some of those people might have went to see Avatar if David was playing another week. Indie Phantom. Out of respect for Rob Reiner, I won't mention the 2 shitfest I watched this week, which were Being Charlie and North. I knew they would be bad, but damn, yeah, Reiner's later career, sheesh. Store Bang, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men. Come on, they were great movies. They were. I have them on my list. I don't want to say anything too negative about Rob because he died, but, you know, it just, it's kind of hard to ignore the drop-off. Indie Phantom, Reiner did 2 flicks with Morgan Freeman, and one was The Bucket List, and the other was something else. Yeah, Angel Studios with David. Now, this seems like they're in their wheelhouse other than Animal Farm, which I still boggles the mind that they made that movie. Number 3 is The Housemaid from Lionsgate, $19 million. Right behind Angel Studios there. Not bad. This is Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried duking it out for head of the household. 2 hot queen bees. I assume there's a scene where they are wrestling each other, rip their tops, and fall into a pool. But I don't know. I think that took away from Avatar. Simply because it's a new movie and some people just went, let's go see Housemaid. Indie Phantom Animal Farm review incoming. Oh, boy. You saw that already? It's not out, is it? I don't think I could say it. I am so incensed at Andy Serkis for even making the damn thing and changing the ending. To think you could change the ending of that movie. Indie Phantom, Amanda Seyfried had to do some woke ranting last week. Yeah, doesn't it feel like they have a new movie out and their PR people say, Amanda, you haven't said anything negative about Donald Trump in 2 months. Oh, well, do I have to do that? Yes. You have to say something completely woke-tarded or else no one will see your movie. People love it. Indie Phantom, never heard of David. Well, he was the king of Judea. Indie Phantom, I didn't see it. I'm waiting for your review. You're going to be waiting a long time, I think. I don't think I could watch that. I really don't. Andy Serkis, I feel, has betrayed George Orwell in such a deep, significant way by changing the ending of that movie and adding a new character. Now, in his defense, the novella is a little short and it is dark. But why make Animal Farm if you're not going to make it, is my point. And you're talking about a classic. You're not talking about some novella that very few people know. This is something I had to read in high school. I assume some of you did. Indie Phantom, LOL. What, Joan? You have to get down? There you go. Don't pee anywhere. Number 4, finally a movie I could get behind. SpongeBob the Movie. Search for SquarePants. $16 million. In, 3,557 theaters. It's the second most theaters. I wish it had done better. That definitely took away from Avatar. Because you got to figure some people were taking their kids to see Avatar and they said, would you guys rather see SpongeBob? And some of them went, yay! And then went to go see a movie that would be fun. Indie Phantom, Orwell and Tolkien rolling in their graves. Oh shite, Ella McKay dropping like a lead turd. That movie looked horrifically bad. Like, really bad. Number 5, dropping from 1 to 5 is Zootopia, but that's not a big surprise. It's in its 4th week. It's been reigning champ for a while. But it's done its job. Oh, man, they're going to be making $1 million of these. Zootopia Forever, $1.2 billion. Disney's got a hit. Again, mostly overseas, though. I mean, it did well enough here, I guess. But, man, the Chinese communists are really lining their pockets with this money. Was it worth it, Disney? Do you really think the Chinese communists will keep the parks open? Number 6, dropping from 2, Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, this movie seems to be mostly done. Next week's going to be really interesting. It's $201 million on a budget of $51 million. That's pretty good. That's money. That's money. Indie Phantom heard that 2025 won't be 2024 box office, which is a sign of the times. Well, I'm not surprised. Halloween was a horrific nightmare. Halloween was like the lowest on record in, what was it, 15 years, something like that. That should have been an easy win. With horror doing as well, first off, Five Nights at Freddy's should have opened on Halloween. And if you end up pushing it back to December, doesn't make any sense. Indie Phantom placing bet that Catfest 2025 still shows up for the holidays. Ooh, I hope so. What will all their Jewish friends go see on Christmas? They need to go see Catfest 2025. It's the only movie worth seeing on this list, except for SpongeBob. I would see SpongeBob. Number 7, dropping from 3. Let it drop forever. Wicked for Good. 4.3 million. So maybe this will finally be kicked out of theaters. 484 million. That's not too shabby. They're talking about a third one, but then Cynthia Erivo's making noise like, "Oh, I don't think I want to do that." Okay, Nosferatu, whatever you say. She is a hard person to look at in real life. In the movie, she looks more normal in the green makeup than she does on the press tours. Number 8 is Durandar. This is the Indian movie. 2.5 million. This is doing really well. It dropped from 5 to 8. But it's only in 400 movie theaters, and it's still doing pretty damn good. It's done 15 million here. Now, the international box office never seems to include India. I can only speculate as to why. My guess would be it might blow away some Hollywood movies, and they don't want those numbers known, or they don't share them. I would love to see the numbers. I'm going to have to try to see if I can find an Indian box office site somewhere. I'm sure there must be one of them somewhere. Let's see. Let's see if I can find one just real quick. Indian box office numbers. Let's see. The Indian box office has a record total gross of 66 million for the year with 54 releases. Latest movies, Indian box office. All language. Oh boy. Alright, this is going to take some... there's Durandar. See, the money's not in American money. It's in, I assume, rupees. Yeah, so this might take some looking over. But you could see you have Hollywood. Oh, there's Avatar. You have Hollywood. So, like, each different wood is a different language in India. So you have Collywood, Mollywood, Tollywood, Bollywood, and there's a couple of others, but they don't... Here's a Marathi film. That's another language. So they have many different languages and tribes in there. There's a Running Man still playing there. So it's a mixture of Indian stuff, but like they're in all different languages. So it's really hard to... It's really kind of confusing. But maybe next week I'll see if I can sort through that. Number 9. Now, it's only in 6 theaters, but this is expected to be an Oscar bait movie. Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet from A24. 875K for 6 theaters. That sounds pretty good, actually. Sounds like the places were packed. But that may have been the point, for the hipsters to go see it. It has a production budget of $70 million. So it's got a ways to go, but we'll see. Probably the wide release will happen next week. Right after Christmas? I don't know. It's about a guy who plays ping pong. I don't know if that's gonna... You think that's gonna catch? I kind of don't feel like that's a movie that's gonna catch fire around Christmas. Doesn't seem super uplifting. It doesn't seem negative. It doesn't seem bad, but it doesn't seem particularly like, oh, cool, I got to see Marty Supreme. It just seems like, it's a movie about some guy who plays ping pong. Number 10 is Hamnet, 850K, going out of theaters in its 4th week. Also Oscar bait. Number 11 is Now You See Me, Now You Don't, 600K in its 6th week. I hope they stop making these movies. I was done with the first one. It just, I don't know, it just seems not good. Number 12 is Eternity. Probably another bad idea. Defend Your Life Part 2.0, basically. 581K in its 4th week. Here's Ella McKay. In its 2nd week, started at number 8 last week, drops to 13, made $480,000. And it's in 2,500 theaters. So that's a big difference. Eternity was only in 514 theaters and made more money than that. This movie is in 2,500 theaters and it only made $480K. That is horrific. The average theater per theater price on that is $192. So divide that by, like, I don't know, $14. You're talking about 12 people a theater, maybe. Indie Phantom heard a good argument on Midnight's Edge that Sinners will win Best Picture because it earned more than one battle, and it won't look good to give it to the white wokey. Well, Sinners is a better movie, I would say. I didn't see One Battle After Another, but I did see Sinners. And other than one scene, I kind of liked it. Indie Phantom, 2nd week blowout. Yeah, this movie drops 76% in its 2nd week. It's done. It's absolutely cooked. This movie is going nowhere. They should take it out of theaters immediately. It cost $35 million. There's no way this money is made. You'd have to force people to go see this movie. Indie Phantom. There was a film released this year called Freaky Tales with Pedro Pascal and Tom Hanks cameo, made under $3K opening weekend. Oh yeah, I remember Freaky Tales. I did something on the trailer for that. I didn't know Tom Hanks was in it, though. I did know Pedro Pascal was in it, and it took place in the 80s. Indie Phantom, Cooked and Frozen. Yeah, this is done. I wonder why. Listen to the synopsis. An idealistic young woman juggles her family and work life in a comedy about the people you love and how to survive them. In other words, she's the good one, and everybody else is wacky, including Woody Harrelson as an emasculated divorced dad who's trying to constantly apologize to her because she's so awesome. So this is like the ultimate girl boss movie where the girl is awesome, 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 and everybody around her is a dope, and the dad is trying to apologize to her in the trailer. God, it looked insufferable. And Jamie Lee Curtis as the awesome mom. I mean, how much more social engineering are you going to try to pass off as movies? Indie Phantom, that poster is just also awful. And who the hell directed this? I forget. Oh yeah, James L. Brooks. And he wrote it too. James L. Brooks, whose name you might remember from The Simpsons. TDS has broken more brains in comedy. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Everybody who hates Trump now can't do comedy. They just can't do it anymore. Stephen Colbert did one of the most amazing White House press club dinners when George W. Bush was in office. And now I can't even stand to look at him, much less laugh at him. Indie Phantom, girl boss is a freaking genre. Yeah. Yeah, that's all these are. It's like every guy who became woke has gone out of their way to apologize to women with one of these projects. For what? I don't know. For your success? Do you have to apologize for women for success? You know who was successful? Penny Marshall. Before she died, she was a great director. She was married to Rob Reiner. Storebang. Jamie Lee Curtis fatigue. Oh, God, yes. Yeah, she should retire. This way she can devote full time to her trans kid. And making comments about that. Ellen McKay. What a nightmare. What an absolute disaster. James L. Brooks, if I was running the studio, I would just tell James L. Brooks, I can never greenlight another movie for you again. You lost us $30 million. More. That's the budget. So you add the advertising. They advertised that movie quite a bit. That's good. 17. You're talking about $50 million blown on this movie. Gone. That's what they lost. I would not give him another movie. No way. Not one he wrote. Maybe I might let him direct something if I approved the script. But I would fire all these woke idiots. I would fire every one of them. Say, get out. You're useless. You can't do comedy anymore. You can't do drama. You're useless. You can't do this stuff if you live in a reality that doesn't exist. No one cares about some girl who does everything right and her life is awesome and everybody thinks she's awesome. When I was in a screenwriting class back in college, we had to write a pitch for a screenplay and like the first 3 pages. And then we had to read it in class. I believe it was, I don't know, one of my screenwriting classes. And this guy got up and he was in the class and he wanted to also be in hockey. He was a big hockey fan. So he had this screenplay about a hockey player. And here was the pitch of the movie. He said there's this great hockey player and he marries his high school sweetheart and he gets on a great team in the minors and then goes to, the majors and then becomes, a star player in the NHL and then he wins the Stanley Cup. The end. And we all looked at him like, that's the movie? And he's like, yeah, isn't it awesome? And we said, no, it's terrible. Because nothing happens in the movie. His life is just great. Like there has to be a conflict. He has to overcome something. And he was like, oh. I assume he is writing movies today in Hollywood. Indie Phantom. Brooks is so damn old. No Catfest. What is the world coming to? Oh my God, it's gone. Well, it could be here. If you check the this list on Monday, Monday they recalculate it and it might pop up there. So I'll check it on Monday just to be safe. After Ella McKay, it's Jujutsu Kaisen Execution. Basically 400K in its 3rd week. In fewer theaters, probably would have made more money than Ella McKay if it had been in more theaters. The Secret Agent, that's a Brazilian secret agent movie, also Oscar bait, 335K. Predator Badlands, somehow still stinking up theaters, 213K in its 7th week. How the Grinch Stole Christmas from Universal, I think that's the live action one. It's good you put it back. I would do that every year. Sentimental Value, also more Oscar bait, 148K in its 7th week. Is This Thing On? This is a Searchlight picture from Bradley Cooper as the director. He's in it. Will Arnett stars. This is basically Punchline redone, and about a stand-up comic. 145K, but it's only in 6 theaters. Might be Oscar bait too. But Will Arnett is also making a turn as a serious actor, which sucks because he's funny. Rental Family, more Oscar bait, 62K in its 5th week. Resurrection from Janus Films, 56K. Forget what that's about. It Was Just an Accident, which I still want to see. The Iranian thriller, 31K in its 10th week. You got Gold, A Celebration of John Prine, $12,000, and then Mistress Dispeller, $2,873, a box office of 178, $542,360. Indie Phantom, yeah, it's Cary Grinch. Basically, Ron Howard making low-key Tim Burton flicks. Anywho, yeah, the box office. I mean, this is a bloody box office. For once, though, we have some competition, which I'm not against. But see, Marty Supreme and Is This Thing On? They purposely, I think, kept to limited theaters because they didn't want to put it up against Avatar. But David, the housemaid, and SpongeBob, they put that right up against it. Now, either they don't see that as competing. I think they compete a little bit, but not directly, really. But no wonder they were doing the math saying, oh yeah, Avatar's not going to do 100. Mistress Dispeller, what the F, says Indie Phantom. I forget what the synopsis of this is. In China, a new industry has emerged devoted to helping couples stay married in the face of infidelity. Wangzi is part of this growing profession and is hired to go undercover and break up affairs by any means necessary. A Mistress Dispeller, offering strikingly intimate access to a real unfolding love triangle. Bullshit. Mistress Dispeller documents all sides of what's usually kept behind closed doors. I don't believe that. I think it's a movie, but okay. As teacher Wang attempts to bring a couple back from the edge of crisis, sympathies shift between husband, wife, and mistress, while emotion, pragmatism, and culture norms collide in a spellbinding look at modern love. I don't believe it for a second, but sure. Why not? A movie from China. Okay. Enough of this. Let's get back to talking about Rob Reiner. Okay, so here are my top 10 Rob Reiner movies. I don't know if you saw my list. Number 10. Now, I had to put 3 things that aren't, he didn't direct this, but he was the writer for 4 episodes of All in the Family. So I got to give him credit for that. All in the Family's great. Number 9. He also was a writer for Pat Paulson. I don't know if you remember that guy. He was this comedian who would run for president. He was pretty funny. So he wrote for him. Number 8, he also wrote for the Smothers Brothers Hour. Also a very famous comedy show. So, he did have some comedy bona fides. All right. Now here we get into the movies he directed. Number 7, When Harry Met Sally. I don't really, it's not my kind of movie, really. I can acknowledge, it was such a popular movie. How could you not acknowledge it, kind of thing. Number 6, A Few Good Men. It's a good movie. Solid. Number 5, Stand By Me. Also solid. Number 4, I'm more of a comedy guy. This is Spinal Tap. I really loved it when I saw it the first time. Number 3, The Sure Thing. I didn't know he directed The Sure Thing. I really enjoyed The Sure Thing. I wish he had made more of those. Back in the 80s, I loved The Sure Thing. That was with John Cusack. The idea was he had this sure thing if he could get to L.A. or something. And also Booger was in it from Revenge of the Nerds. Number 2, The Princess Bride, which everybody loves. How can you not love The Princess Bride? I love it. But for me, the number one Rob Reiner movie, and I really feel it's his best, is Misery. I love Misery. Now, part of that is James Caan. I love James Caan in that movie. He's so good. You know, James Caan's pretty good in a lot of different movies, but in that movie, oh man, he's just so great. So that's my Rob Reiner top 10. The rest of the movies, you know, I looked at him, I'm like, he directed that? I didn't really, you know, I don't want to, again, come down on the guy. Here's Indie Phantom. My top 5, Reiner. 1, Stand By Me. 2, Sure Thing. 3, A Few Good Men. 4, The Princess Bride. And 5, Misery. Acceptable. I mean, they're all good. But you know what? When I'm looking at the list, I was like, are there some movies missing here? Didn't he direct more? You'd think the way people in Hollywood were talking about him, there had to be a couple of missing or something, but things kind of just drop off after When Harry Met Sally, I think. But Indie Phantom. I also like James Wood and Ghost of Mississippi. I didn't see that. I don't even remember it, but you know, James Woods defended him a little bit. He thought it was wrong to come down so hard on Rob, especially right after he died. I think it was. I think it was too much. You know, I think Trump was using it as a distraction, which worked, by the way. But yeah, I wouldn't have done that. It was too much for me. Indie Phantom, hilarious. He co-stars with Whoopi and Alec Baldwin. Oh. Indie Phantom, the American president is heavily overrated claptrap. Yeah, I don't remember that one either. I'm sure I saw the commercial when it was out, but it just didn't strike a chord with me. So, oops. Hold on. All right. Before I get into some Christmas movies, let's see what the trades say. Here it is. Avatar fires up 88 million. That's not what you said earlier a couple weeks ago. You were talking 100 million. And then you downgraded it so you could say, oh, it did what we said. But at least you got your prediction in before you knew what it was, so I'll give you that. James Ransom, who played Ziggy Sabatka in The Wire, dies at 46. I don't remember this dude. 46 seems too early. What the hell happened to him? He was easily pushed around by low-level criminals on The Wire and his fellow cargo checkers. Ah, man, I don't remember that at all. He died by, oh my God, I can't even say, self-deletion. Oh my God. That's awful. Eesh. Indie Phantom. Should be noted, The Sure Thing is actually a Christmas movie of sorts. Is that? That's one of my list. I have my Christmas movie list, and then movies that take place on Christmas but really aren't a Christmas movie in my view. Did I put The Sure Thing on it? I don't think I did. What else? Have we reached the tipping point where movies could stop being movies? Depends on what you mean by movie. I mean, I think we'll always have, you know, the 90-minute to 2-hour window is a good time for a story. Because once you get longer than the 2 hours, it becomes a little much. Then you go shorter than that, and kind of like, yeah, you kind of feel a little bit cheated. I mean, I think the 90-minute to 2-hour mark is a pretty good amount of time to sit there and watch a story. So I think if you define that as a movie, I think, yeah, they'll be around forever. They'll just be in different forms. Indie Phantom. Oh, that dude was pretty intense and weird. He was in the Larry Clark flick, Ken Park, where he almost self-deletes. Dark. Let's see. Nick Reiner spoke about drug use, paying sex workers, and more in podcast interviews before parents' death. So, if you're not up on all the details, the latest details in the Nick Reiner thing, he's in prison, of course. He's wearing a self-deletion vest, and he's under watch. The latest revelation this week was, or the last few days, Conan O'Brien, during the party, someone, apparently the argument between Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner was so intense, somebody wanted to call the cops. And then later, the impression I got from the article was that the reason they wanted to call the cops was not that they were like necessarily disturbed personally by the behavior, but they thought it would be a good idea if Nick Reiner was locked up, like, you know, on the 3-day thing that they do when they arrest you for being crazy. And they were going to call, but Conan O'Brien interceded and said, no, I don't want the cops in my house, basically. And, which, again, I don't blame Conan O'Brien for not wanting the cops at his house. It's not his responsibility. He kind of, you know, he opened his door to Nick, and that turned out to be a mistake, but he couldn't have known. Probably happened in the past, right? Nick Reiner had been sort of a tag along with his parents for a long time, even though he was 32. And then, you know, he had no idea it would get out of hand, and nobody had any idea this was going to happen. So, like, it just looks bad, right? It looks bad that Bill Hader was the last guy to talk to him. And then the implication in some of the articles was that Hader told him off, and that maybe set him off. I think that's just the stupid journalist playing games. But, you know, everybody would have handled it differently. But, I mean, personally, I wouldn't have want the cops in the house. But if Nick was that bad, I would have said, nah, you can't bring Nick in. He's an idiot. Indie Phantom. Conan should have just kicked them out. Maybe he did. Talk about a party crasher. Yeah. But then, you know, the story would have been like Nick Reiner went home with his mother and father, and then later they ended up dead. Like, he threw them out. Like, he didn't want that either. So, I don't know. Indie Phantom. Those guys won't escape the story for a while. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the trial's not going to happen for like months, and then that'll be dragged out. And Lord knows what'll come up in that. I hope nobody did anything at that party that's going to come up. Well, we were in the back doing lines off of hookers' asses when Nick Reiner came in and ruined the vibe. So, I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. But to me, I mean, it sounds like, and again, this is just my speculation, but it sounds like he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He started abusing drugs at 15 and had been doing in and out of rehab for 17 years. If he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which it's not uncommon for schizophrenics to self-medicate with drugs and then become addicted, and then their problems are much worse. He didn't want to go to a rehab. What he really needed to go to was a mental asylum, I think. He needed to be staying at a place where he could be monitored and, you know, watched over. And then every night he would go home to that place, and then, like, he couldn't be by himself. Sounds to me. But it's too late for that now. But, you know, parents, I think they're going to be in denial. It's not just Rob Reiner, but a lot of different parents would be like, no, we got this. You know, maybe the first time it happens, you think you handle it, and the second and third time, and maybe it gets out of hand once in a while, but more often than not, he comes home and everything's fine, and you think you could just, love your way out of it. But unfortunately, when it comes to something like schizophrenia, schizophrenics aren't necessarily violent, but, he was 32. He's getting more and more frustrated. The drugs are certainly not helping. It's a shame. Ionisys is here. I think Rob Reiner denied the seriousness of his son's mental problems. Yeah. But I can't really fault him for that. It was a fatal mistake on his part, as it turns out. But I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing. Because it's your son, and you just go, no, I can fix this, or no, he's going to be fine. Like, you kind of don't want to admit your son's that serious. You don't want to put your son in a mental hospital. Because once he has that, I'm sure when he was 15, the idea was, I can't put him in a mental hospital. He'll have that stigma for the rest of his life. But once he's like at 32 and he's had so many problems, he really should have done that. But we all do things we shouldn't have done. So I kind of can't blame him for trying, but And now I read an article where Rami, who's the sister, she also had drug problems, but apparently not mental problems, as far as we know. But who knows? Indie Phantom, the whole situation sucks. Definitely puts a damper on the season. Yeah. It's just dark. Here it is. Cynthia Revo, hanging up the wicked broomstick, whether Glinda knows Elphaba is alive and what Ariana Grande whispers in the final picnic scene. I so don't care. Who cares? Ugh, that sounds awful. James Gunn Superman, Man of Tomorrow, cast Lars Eidinger as Brainiac. Okay. I don't know who he is. Seems like he would be a fine Brainiac. He has a big enough head. You need a guy with a big head for Brainiac. Yeah, he's got to look like he has a giant brain. Yeah, he shaved that dude's head. I think his head is plenty big enough. Plenty big enough. Charlemagne the God. His head's pretty big. Not big enough, though. I can't stand Charlemagne the God. 5-year deal renewal with iHeartMedia? Sure. Whatever, who cares? Jimmy Kimmel to deliver deeply personal Christmas Day message on UK Channels 4. What? I did not. Let me check my bingo card. Nope, I definitely didn't have that. What the? Jimmy Kimmel to deliver deeply personal Christmas Day message on UK's Channel 4. Why? Is he making the move to the UK? God, I hope so. I hope he moves. Go with God, Jimmy, and never come back. Let's see. Landman. Everybody, I hear, this is a good show, I hear, Landman. People like it. Let's see. Box office. Avatar Fire and Ash powers to 345 million globally. Zootopia hops to 1.2 billion. Lewis Pullman says filming Spaceballs 2 with his dad was a dream come true. We've been wanting to do that forever. That's kind of fun. I don't know if that's going to be good though. I don't think Mel Brooks is. I get the idea is way too old to be doing that. You know, to be seriously involved in the movie. I think Josh Gad wrote it. Josh Gad's got TDS bad. I'd like to think he gave it up and went back into comedy and is ignoring politics, but we'll see. We'll see. And I assume they're doing a parody of the sequels, which suck, but maybe they'll acknowledge that in Spaceballs and it'll be funny. I kind of hope, but I don't know. John Candy's gone. I don't know. I don't know. But good luck, Lewis Pullman. Here's SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. It's got pirate stuff in it. So, it's SpongeBob on a pirate adventure, but with most of the joy squeezed out. Oh, says Variety. I don't know if I trust Variety. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, going to Fandom Pulse. Jim Zub delivers another solid Conan the Barbarian graphic novel with a nest of serpents. That sounds cool. Titan Comics. Maybe there's something to look forward to after all. I mean, at least this isn't Marvel's woke Conan. Ugh, remember that? For a brief, horrible moment, Conan was woke. He was in charge of the women. He was letting the women do the fighting. Oh my God. I could just imagine the giddiness in the office when the woke women of Marvel got their hands on Conan. Oh my God, we're going to do Conan, and he's going to make it. He's going to make the women in charge. Indie Phantom, John Candy's gone? Now you're really bumming me out, Tony. Well, at least we have that John Candy documentary. I hear that's really good. Indie Phantom, actually, I never did see Who's Harry Crumb. See, you have some John Candy to look forward to. Let's see. Avatar, Fire and Ash is a mid-movie, but better than the first two installments. How is that possible? All right. Indie Phantom. Conan was crap in the remake. That was not good. Claire Obscura, Expedition 33, removed from Indie Game Awards over AI that doesn't even appear in the game. They've got it out for this game. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why. I think because it's not woke. I think that's the vibe I'm getting from the articles I'm skimming and not really reading. So if you're looking for a video game, apparently Claire Obscura Expedition 33, which is a terrible name, by the way, is the one to check out. Pluribus doubles down on its woke elements and nothing happens again in episode 8. Indie Phantom, spoiler alert, Fire and Ass is actually better than the other ones. I haven't seen this Pluribus thing. One of my relatives saw it. They liked it. But he just saw like the first or maybe the first 2 episodes. I mean, the concept isn't horrific, but I'm not sure where they could go with it. But we'll, it is Vince Gilligan, who is very good in, Breaking Bad. So maybe he can make it work. It took a while for Breaking Bad to kind of get going. Major comic book publisher throws in the towel and turns to licensing. This is Archie, which I'm sort of glad they've gone back to the basics, it sounds like. But comics are in real trouble, as the article points out. I won't get into it. No one cares. Ionisys, I'm shocked that trailer of the new Spielberg movie is so bad. Looks like a regular Netflix streaming movie. Oh yeah, that's Disclosure Day. It does look bad. It looks boring. It looks like a retread of stuff. These guys don't have great ideas anymore. They just don't. They won't go to screenwriters. I don't know why. Sometimes they go to books. But I feel like their egos are so massive they feel like they need to change something. And I worked with a guy like that. He was a friend of mine, but he could not help himself. His ego was so massive. Every time we tried to work on a comic together, and every time I pitched an idea, he would have to come back and top me. And after a while, I got frustrated and I walked away. It was so bad. I was like, dude, just go do a comic without me. You know everything. It just demoralized me because there wasn't a single thing of my ideas, he would just go, "That's good," and just go with it. He had to top it. He had to change it, and it was just to change it. You know, did he have some good ideas? Yeah, once in a while he came up with something, but you know, he was an artist, I was a writer, and I'm trying to like map out issues, map out arcs. He's just trying to do cool stuff, and he would just blow up everything I would try to lay down. And it was very frustrating. I can see that with these Hollywood guys. I feel like that's what they do. Even when they get a good book, they got to blow it up. They got to change it. They got to subvert expectations. Some of it's just money. Some of it's just the way they operate, I think. You know, I think they just operate in the mode of whatever the studio wants. The studio wants me to go in this direction. I'm just going to do it because that'll get me the most money and blah, blah, blah. And I think part of it's the focus group nonsense. And I really think it is nonsense to take your movie, show it to a focus group, and expect them to fix it. You know, with their fucking cards. And I'm sorry to curse, but it infuriates me. Like, you could send, I've always said this, you can send a really bad movie to a focus group, and they'll give you notes to make it at least watchable if you change it based on their notes. But if you send them a good movie, there's always going to be 2 or 3 people in that theater that effing hate your movie. There are always people who hate good movies because it's different. And they don't get it. And sometimes they don't get it right away. Sometimes later it dawns on them, you know what, that was good. But, you know, you can't show them something really good and expect them to improve it. They're not writers. They're not talent. They're just the audience, man. They're not doing this. They're not thinking like this. They're just, they're going on with their day. They saw a movie and they give you a reaction. Maybe they had gas. Maybe they're having a bad week. Maybe they just broke up with somebody and it's bad. Maybe they are, they're having problems. Maybe they just don't like the way you talk to them when they walked into the theater. There's so many effing factors, and you're going to rely on these, you know, 200 randos that you dragged into a theater to see your movie, that their input is going to actually fix the movie? This is how stupid studio execs are. This is how desperate they are. They trust no one. They trust no talent. They need outside validation from total strangers who know nothing of movies. How stupid is that? It's like, oh, we're making a TV dinner, and I'm going to bring in 50 people to eat it and give us random reactions. Well, they're not gourmet people. They're not chefs. Chefs know what they're doing. They have a long track record of mixing flavors and, you know, acids and bases, and it's very chemical what they do sometimes. And they know how, you know, sweets and salts and different tastes, and they know what goes together. You can't rely on some stranger who just eats to make decisions like that. Yes, he has an opinion. He goes to a place, eats something, doesn't like it, but there's so many reasons he may not like it. He's not a gourmand. He's just a dude with a tongue and a mouth. You can't rely on random people to focus your movie. It doesn't focus anything. Sorry, I'm ranting. Indie Phantom. Vince can be woke. It looks like a hard pass. Pluribus. Yeah, I don't know. It's seeming... You know, initially I was like, okay, sounds cool. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't have this. I still have Apple TV sitting here. I got to hook it up. But, like, I'm not going out of my way when I hear reviews like that. The moment I hear something's even a little woke, I'm like, nah, not even going to waste my time. When I hear something is not woke, then I'll go out of my way. When I heard, and I recommend this cartoon, if you like cartoons, I like cartoons. Smiling Friends on Adult Swim. I saw an interview with the guys who do the show, and they say we stay out of politics. And I said, I'm going to watch the entire run. And I did. And every day I check HBO Max to see if there's a new episode because I really enjoyed the run. I watched all 3 seasons. There's only 24 episodes. They're only 15 minutes long. But it's a fun show. I wish it was a half hour long. I wish there were 100 episodes. I love it. All right. Actress Roundtable, Jennifer Lawrence, Cynthia Erivo, and Jessica Buckley want all the shadowy bits to show. What? Ladies. Whatever. Hollywood's most notable deaths of 2025. I guess we could look at this list. It'll be kind of a bummer. Oh boy, yeah, this is a bummer of a list. Oof. Yeah, so many. Gene Hackman, Diane Keaton, David Lynch, Val Kilmer. I forget her. Ozzy Osbourne, Robert Redford. Is that Huggy Bear? And Rob Reiner. Oh, Michelle Trachtenberg. And Irv Gotti. Brian Wilson. Jeff Baena. So many. Nicki Minaj praises Trump during surprise appearance with Erica Kirk at Turning Point USA event. Nicki Minaj really strikes me as the first of many celebrities, in my opinion, that are going to make the turn. They're going to make... she's sort of straddled, the politics, and now she's making the move. She's like, okay, I've tested the waters a couple of times, saying pro-Trump stuff, and now I'm going to go over there. Seems like it's the crowd I want. Like she was testing the waters, and now she's like, okay, yeah, this will work for me. This will be my crowd. Anybody who's, she's kind of got enough cred in the other camp that they won't totally destroy her for, doing stuff for Trump, I think. Her audience anyway. So when Dick Van Dyke, now 100, first made us laugh, so he made it to 100. That's a positive thing. I like Dick Van Dyke. He seems nice enough. Although apparently he had a drinking problem, but who didn't back in the day? What else? Oh, Bowen Yang tears up during farewell SNL skit. I just feel so lucky that I ever got to work here. I don't know. They said this was a big shock. He was leaving the show. To which I say, oh my God, then I will miss you not being on the show that I never watch, I guess. Okay. I still can't believe Saturday Night Live. I don't want to get into it, but I still can't believe it's still on. I can't believe it is what it is now. This was a cool headline. Dracula Land is gonna open in Romania. Doesn't that sound badass? That sounds like a theme park I want to go to. Dracula Land? All right. It's about time. Discover Romania's latest attraction, Dracula Land, a massive vampire-themed resort set in Bucharest. That sounds badass. I'd go to that. Although you'd have to go into Romania. Watch your ass there, I'd say. Oh, here's a headline. Sony developing Indie Phantom. I would hit it up. Ionisys. The movie about SNL was fine. Did you like it? I heard mixed things. I recommend the SNL, the book about SNL. I forget who wrote it, but it was really good. Sony developing new censorship AI capable of making real-time on-demand edits to any media on any platform. See, this is the kind of thing I think if it was given to the consumer, just the consumer, would be good, right? So you have kids and you don't want them to watch certain things on TV. You could hopefully program the AI, hey AI, whenever there's a curse word, you got to edit it out or put in a honk or whatever. You can't let my kids watch any kind of violence. You can't let them watch, any kind of sexual things. Like, if you put that in the hands of a parent, I'm all for it. You put that in the hands of, like, I'm trying to watch Netflix and the AI keeps doing stuff. No, I don't want that. Indie Phantom, I know a couple in Romania that want me to visit, but nah. Are you making a joke? Like, they want you to visit, but they're going to drink your blood? Rumor, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart face right-wing extremist in Lanterns TV show. That's the Green Lanterns TV show. True or false? Well, let's see. James Gunn is running the DCU. When this show was developed, Damon Lindelof, I call him the Antichrist of screenwriters, is involved with the show. How could it be anything but that? So I assume that's 100% true, that Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart will be fighting right-wing extremists, which will be anyone who disagrees with the Democrats, I assume. All right. What else? Let's move on to Deadline. Indie Phantom, Gunn running it into the ground. Sure seems that way. It's possible, but now I don't care whether it's his fault or not. It is possible the corporate guys are pushing his buttons saying, woke it. Make it woke. Make it more woke. We got to sell this thing. Make it woke as F. The people at Netflix want woke, woke, woke. And we need to sell to them. It's possible, but doesn't matter. If anybody is a sellout, I would call James Gunn a sellout, if that's true. Either way you look at it. James Ransone tributes. Spike Lee remembers my dear brother following Inside Man and Red Hook Summer Star's death. That's a shame. Jimmy Kimmel to deliver Christmas TV speech reflecting on the really great year for fascism. Oh, now it makes more sense. Jesus, Jimmy. You're sad, man. You had to go to another country to do that? What, they wouldn't let you do it on ABC? Even ABC, as woke as Bob Iger is and Disney is, even they were like, Jimmy, no, Jimmy, we can't. Jimmy, you got kicked off the air already once. Now you're going to do this? You got to go to another country to do it. Pathetic. I hope you move there, Jimmy. I really do. I think he's making noise he's going to move to Italy. He won't. My prediction, he won't. And if he does, he'll move there, but his money will be in America because he won't want to pay the taxes there. The taxes in Europe are insane. Oh, but they're much better. Oh, their system's much better. The socialist system. We should really try that here. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're all amped to try that. I bet you're not amped to try the taxes that go with it, Jimmy. I bet you're not. I bet when your accountant explains real life to you, you go, oh yeah, no. Let's put all our money in the Cayman Islands or something. What else? That's about it here. All right, moving on to Bleeding Fool. Sydney Sweeney shines in new thriller Housemaid. I guess. I don't know. This doesn't... The problem with this movie, Amanda Seyfried doesn't look like an older woman to me. She looks... I mean, she's not, obviously not Sydney Sweeney's age, but she kind of looks similar. They both look really hot. Like they're too close in look. Like they should have gotten someone more matronly for the Amanda Seyfried role, or they should have like made her look older or something. But no actress wants to look older, I would say. Indie Phantom, yeah, he is bluffing. Spider-Man Brand New Day wraps filming. So we got that might be good. That's 50-50. That could be bad. But the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland have been on a roll. I like them all so far. I hope Sony doesn't screw it up. Don't screw it up, Sony. Don't screw it up. I don't know how the Spider-Man movies have survived this long, quite frankly. Looking at the other Sony movies, it's Morbin time. The Craven movie, so unnecessary. Oh my God, was that movie unnecessary? And oh yeah, Madam Web. Whew. But as bad as those movies seem to have been, the Spider-Man movies are good. So don't screw it up, Sony. Don't screw it up now. And that's about... Oh, well, you got a review of Amazon's Fallout Season 1, Episode 1. I have a review of Amazon's Fallout Season 1, Episode 1. It was okay. The opening scene is great. The rest of it's kind of like not as good. But the opening scene, it's pretty badass. But you can see most of it on YouTube. So I'll be doing the entire Fallout season again. Ionisys, the new Gus Van Sant movie, Dead Man's Wire, could be interesting. Well, we shall see. More on Avatar, more on Nicki Minaj calls J.D. Vance an assassin. An assassin? In awkward moment with Erica Kirk on Turning Point USA stage. I think she must have misspoke on that. 26 award contenders you can stream during the holiday break. 10 best movie sequels of 2025. Okay, let's look at that. Wonder what's going to be on this list. Another Simple Favor. Oh, come on. It's a Blake Lively movie. I mean, the first one, it didn't look good to me, but I can imagine, it was aimed at women. I can imagine it. This one sounds really dumb because it looks like they go out of their way to bring back a character who is basically in jail to do the same damn story. But okay. Castration movie analogy 2, The Best of Both Worlds. What the hell are you even talking about? What the hell? What? Is this a joke? Did I end up on the Babylon Bee? Nope, this is the wrap. All right. I think I'm done. I'm done with this list. No, it's too insane. I have to get to the end. Final Destination Bloodlines. Okay. That one did look good. All right, you saved yourself there a little bit. The wrap. Influencers. That's a sequel? Oh, I guess so, because it's 2 instead of 1. Right. Did I see the trailer for this? I believe there's a hot chick in it, so I think I did. Megan Mithrigan 2.0. Oh, I heard this was unwatchable. And I thought the first one was a little disturbing. Niza 2, that's the Chinese movie that made $2 billion, allegedly. Talk about money for the communist. Predator Badlands. All right, you're pissing me off again, The Wire. Or The Wrap, sorry. Okay, Sisu, Road to Revenge. I'm dying to see this. It's already out of theaters. I think I'm just going to wait for streaming. This is probably going to be amazing. Indie Phantom Bloodlines really wasn't good. Oh, no? It looked okay. 28 years later, you go F yourselves. I saw that movie and it sucks. It's one of the worst movies ever. It's terrible. Indie Phantom. Mithrigan looks woke. Probably is. This friggin' 28 years later, though. Danny Boyle needs, I don't know, therapy or something. This movie, I don't even know why he made it. I mean, I guess for a giant pile of money, but first off, it feels like he stole part of the idea from Crossed, which is a great online comic. Totally Google it if you want to be totally shocked and see 28 Days Later, probably the way they should have made it. Holy cow. Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery. Again, go F yourself. Whew. I've learned my lesson. No more lists from this stupid site. Jesus. Cosmic Book News. What do we got? Zack Snyder shares early Henry Cavill Superman costume test from Man of Steel. Every day, Zack Snyder puts up another still from his days on the Justice League. It's kind of annoying. Alex Ogle is here. Merry Christmas, bigots. Can we hope for better movies in 2026? 2025 has been positively that word for when you apply the brakes. Slammed? Squeaky? Yeah, 2025 is pretty bad. Indie Phantom. Danny Boyle is an egghead. Didn't like his Train Spotting sequel. Knives Out, no more. Merry Christmas, Alex, says Indie Phantom. James Gunn, Superman, and Brainiac. Why this will further split DC fans. I think his bigger problem, will there be any fans left by the time James Gunn is done with the DCU? I think he's really running out of time. I think Supergirl is probably going to... the only thing that's going to save Supergirl is Lobo. Like, Lobo might be in enough of the movie that people kind of like it. I think they're going to hate Supergirl, but I think they're going to love Lobo. And, but then Lobo gets his own movie, I believe. And then that probably will be more of be careful what you wish for, fanboys. Because again, Lobo's not a great character on his own. He's kind of a great character if he's a side character and he's sort of like in the mix. But on his own, there's not a lot there. I'm warning you. Indie Phantom, we can hope, but we'll be denied. Ionicus, I don't know. Was 2025 worse than 2024 regarding movies? Hard to say. Indie Phantom, James Gunn, just go away. Super woke. Will tank. Alex Ogle, Danny Boyle got off to a good start, and then they got amplified by that liberal nonsense. The opening of 2012 London Olympics was some sort of inflection point for his career. Now is probably a good time to go to my Christmas movies list. So I'm going to do my Christmas movies to cheer everyone up. So this is my top 10 Christmas movies. Number 10, Home Alone. Number 9, A Christmas Story Christmas. That's a sequel, the good sequel to A Christmas Story. Number 8 is Scrooge with Albert Finney, 1970. It's one of the best. I don't like musicals generally speaking, but I do like the song Thank You Very Much. Google that if you want to hear a really cool song. Oh wait, I wrote Home Alone again. Why did I do that? Maybe I put Home Alone 2 as number 10, Home Alone 1 as number 7. Number 6, Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. I think that's called something else, actually, but the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Number 5, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's a Heat Miser and Cold Miser. Number 4, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, animated, of course. Number 3, A Year Without a Santa Claus. Oh, maybe that's the one with Heat Miser and Cold Miser. I forget. Yeah, no, that's the one with Heat Miser and Cold Miser. Number 2 is A Christmas Story. And number 1 for me is Scrooged. Honorable mention to A Christmas Vacation, which probably should have been on the list. Alex Ogle, Despot of Antrim had a good retrospective of 2025's films. Lethal Weapon is the only Christmas movie. Ionisys, Scrooge with Albert Finney still has some creepy scenes. It's such a good movie. It's really a good... All right, now I got 10 movies that take place on Christmas, but I don't think are really Christmas movies. All right. Number 10, Batman Begins. Number 9, In Bruges. If you haven't seen In Bruges, that's a good movie. Number 8 is Cobra. Number 7 is LA Confidential. Number 6, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Number 5 is Trading Places. Number 4 is Gremlins. Number 3 is Die Hard. Number 2 is The Long Kiss Goodnight. I love that movie. And number 1 is Lethal Weapon. Honorable mention to The Sure Thing, which I didn't realize was on Christmas. Indie Phantom. Good list. Haven't seen most, but like Scrooged. I really like Scrooged. It's fun. Indie Phantom. I have seen Eyes Wide Shut over multiple Christmases now. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Eyes Wide Shut is the only movie where the two leads are married, and I didn't believe they were married in the movie. Because Nicole Kidman, no bueno on the acting. Alex Ogle. Batman Returns is set as Christmas and is better than Batman Begins. Yeah, I agree with that. I like Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I think she's probably the best Catwoman. At least movie Catwoman. Indie Phantom. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo came out at Christmas. Didn't it take place on Christmas? I remember a lot of snow. I don't know. I saw it on a list of movies that take place on Christmas. Maybe it was the wrong list. Or maybe it's the original one. Paul Jenkins returns to the Century, a new Marvel Comics limited series. I don't think anybody cares, but Godspeed to you, Paul. Zachary Levi explains how the woke agenda is killing Hollywood. He's out. He's doing non-woke movies for like outside the major studios, I think. Good on him. I think he's got a little momentum behind him, unlike a few other celebrities that seem to try to make that move. He actually seems like he's doing it. I'm not a huge fan of his movies, I got to be honest. They seem kind of sentimental and not for me, but good for him. Indie Phantom. I dig Eyes Wide Shut for various reasons, but not Kidman. Alex Ogle at Indie Phantom. Yeah, Kidman went off the boil a while ago. You know what really messed me up for Kidman was that ridiculous... I don't know if it's a commercial or if it's just a little video of her eating bugs. Did you see her eating bugs? It's so bizarre that she would do it. It was like she was, I don't know, trying to gain entry to the World Economic Forum, and they said, well, what have you done for us? And she said, oh, I'll eat some bugs on camera to show everybody how awesome they are. Ugh. Indie Phantom. It might also take place at Christmas. Kidman looks terrible now. Was never a fan. Ionisys, yeah. Yeah, there's like one or two movies where she's okay in, and then I just go, why? Why does she keep getting in things? She's not that great looking. Indie Phantom, she is gross. She was never that great looking to me. I think it was just because she was Tom Cruise's wife. Indie Phantom, also weird sex films lately. Yeah. Ionisys, Kidman has become a creep. It was kind of creepy, that intern movie she did. Alexander Ogle. Kidman was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She was? She just seems to get more work than she deserves. Like, she seems to be at the perfect nexus point where she's famous enough to do stuff, and she's the right age that they can put her up in movies where she's like a strong, empowered woman who's a little older, but not too old, but old and like still good looking enough that she's, I don't know, getting what she wants, divorcing her husband and getting all the money or something. Clint Miller's here. Hello, Clint. Chocolate covered ants and grasshoppers used to be a thing. Yeah, but the World Economic Forum don't put the chocolate on them, my friend. Indie Phantom, you love Dead Calm, Tony. That's true. I do love Dead Calm. Is she in that? I guess she's the woman in that. She's just eye candy in that one. Is she the woman in that? Oh no. All this time. Oh my God, she is. Hey, hardly recognize her in that. She looks completely different in that era. She looks like a kid. Indie Phantom thinks she made a deal when they offed Kubrick. Clint Miller, crickets and grasshoppers are considered kosher. I consider them gross. Alex Ogle, Kidman benefited from that time when everyone liked those Aussie soap operas, strumpets like Kylie and Danny Minogue and Holly Valance, who is still based and hot. Indie Phantom, she is the woman. Let me see this hot-based woman you speak of. Holly Valance. All right, we'll take a look at her. Holly Valance. Images. Oh, she is pretty hot. All right. Looking pretty cute. Let's do the bikini test. Bikini? Yes, bikini. Pretty cute. I vaguely remember her. All right. Acceptable. Yeah. All right. Oh, that's a bit cheeky. All right. Wait, that's not her, is it? That's somebody else, I think. Who is this? I got to be careful with these photos. Sometimes I get myself in trouble. Where was I? I did that. There we go. Alex Ogle, Holly Valance speaks out against Jibby Jab. Good for her. Indie Phantom, you failed at Minogue pronunciation. Alex Ogle, Minogue. Minogue? Daredevil Born Again Season 2. By the way, they're calling Daredevil a revolutionary in the next season. I don't like the sound of that. And HBO dumped Creature Commandos on YouTube for free because nobody watched it. Which I thought was hilarious. Star Wars Starfighter. If anybody cares, that rap production. And so did Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh, yeah, and the Paramount's deal is done, apparently. So it looks like Netflix is the winner. But the upshot, for me anyway, is Paramount Skydance also apparently is going to have studio space in the big studio in Monmouth County, New Jersey. So I'll have two places to get rejected by the Pineys if I go up there, if I can get a meeting. Alex Ogle, Minogue. Blimey, Americans can't pronounce anything. I can't. I'm a special case. I'm very bad at pronunciation. Let's see. The Epstein stuff came out this week. Bunch of photos, redacted, gross photos apparently. A lot of them had Bill Clinton in them. So I'm not exactly sure why the Democrats thought this was a great idea, but I think Trump tricked them again. Oh, Tucker Carlson named Anti-Semite of the Year by Jewish Rights Group. I think he's done. I think he's done. I think Tucker Carlson is headed for the John Birch Society of Media. Clint Miller, Canadians can't spell. Indie Phantom. Supergirl is not hot, Tony. The more I see, the worse it gets. They had a picture of Miley Alcock in a Power Girl outfit that looked pretty good, but I don't know if I think it might have been AI. Alex Ogle, you can pronounce pasta vazul and Hawaiian pizza. Yes, I can. Indie Phantom, think people were expecting full-on prawn. Well, again, Supergirl is kind of a failed character. It's not like you can add her into the mix, but at the end of the day, she can't support her own comic. Why do you think she could support her own movie? The characters in DC, it's very clear who can support their own movie. Superman, Batman, maybe Aquaman, Wonder Woman, definitely. The Flash, probably. Green Lantern, if you get a better script, probably. Maybe Martian Manhunter. Maybe John Constantine. And that's about it. That's about it. The rest of the characters got to be in a group of some kind. And even then, that's questionable. Indie Phantom, Tucker can have Spacey over for Christmas again. I can't wait for that box office. Pilot reports silver canister UFO feet from his plane during creepy air traffic control call. Good luck with the aliens. I think it's probably a drone, but that's just me. I assume the Chinese have a bunch of drones. We don't know what they look like. Crazed gym member leaps over counter, pummels staffer who asked her to quiet down. Oh, that is a punch. Yeah, that's no bueno. That's at Planet Fitness in Miami. Oh, stay out of there, I would say. Oh, here's more on Nick Reiner. Rob Reiner's daughter lived in fear of Nick, leaning heavily on brother Jake after murders, according to a report. Well, you could see that. Obviously, who does she have to lean on now? She's got it. She apparently has an addiction problem too. She's got to really be careful now. I mean, this could send her right over the edge. Something like this. It's horrific. So hopefully her brother is there. The brother sounds like he's got his act together. He lives in Houston. I think he's a news guy or a sports guy. So hopefully she has support. Alex Ogle, I'm not sure if Carlson is over. Everyone's been trying to diminish him for ages, yet he's bigger than ever. I don't know. I mean, Carlson apparently has been taking money, I've heard, from the Qataris. And part of his TPUSA speech was talking about somehow embracing Muslims. I didn't hear the speech, so I didn't get all the details, so don't quote me. Something like that. Yeah, I don't like where his head is at. Also, they got to make a push to push out the anti-Semites. If Carlson's one of them, adios. You definitely got to get rid of Nick Fuentes. Look, whatever you think of him, he has bad optics. He has horrific optics. For the stuff he said, he's got to go. That's like that's like the right-wing version of Destiny. The Democrats don't want Destiny on their payroll, and you don't want Nick Fuentes. They've said too many things that can be quoted. They're out. Just kick them out. Don't even think about it. There's just no reason to have them in. They're too much baggage. Carlson is now in the too much baggage category, I think. Kick him out. Just don't invite him to things. let him spin his wheels somewhere else. If he wants to talk, if he wants to be conservative, let him be conservative on his own time. Ionesis. Has Kevin Spacey become a stand-up comedian now for his earnings? I think Kevin Spacey, it sounds to me like he's doing anything to make money. He's in an Italian sitcom where he plays himself, and there's a character who imagines Kevin Spacey giving him advice. So, like, I don't know how this plays in Italy, but apparently, I think he works in a pharmacy, and he imagines, it's like, remember True Romance, where Clarence imagined Elvis giving him a pep talk? That's who Kevin Spacey is in this, like, Italian sitcom. He's not real. He's just in the guy's head. But Kevin Spacey gives him advice, I guess. Not sure what kind of advice he gives him. Clint Miller. Plus, he interviewed Nick Fuentes, and like him or hate him, Fuentes is exploding. Yeah, badly. And look, the guy, you know, Nick Fuentes has openly stated he loves bad guy from Germany. He likes, or he thought he was cool. He likes Stalin. He likes a lot of things. Now you can, you know, play the internet troll game and say, oh, he was just kidding. He was just kidding. He said it a lot in different occasions, in different contexts. And it's bull that he was kidding. I don't think he's kidding. I think he's saying that stuff partly to get outraged, but partly because he either believes it's true or he's willing to say that kind of stuff and have followers who believe that follow him. So, no thanks. Indie Phantom, I need to see this hit piece doc on Corey Feldman. Yeah, Corey also accused Corey Haim this week, but he backed off of it. Corey Haim's mother blasted him. I'm not sure what's going on there. Alex Ogle, I can't type a comment about that gym video without noticing something about it. Indie Phantom, sounds hilarious. Clint Miller, Candace Owens. Oh, Candace Owens is a complete write-off. I mean, if you're defending Megyn Kelly kind of defended Candace Owens at TPUSA. She's a complete, you put her right into the basket. Nope. Oh, you're going to defend Candace Owens? Ouch you! Indie Phantom, sounds hilarious. Spacey is the new Elvis? Alex Ogle, Fuentes' problem is his Italian heritage means he can't wind his neck in. He's like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. Well, that's his problem. You know, he sounds like a total lunatic to me. And you don't want total lunatics. You don't want people who are going to pop off like that. It's the same reason why the left should absolutely not embrace Hassan Piker, even though they are. Trying to make him the new Joe Rogan. Oh, you definitely don't want any piece of that guy either. Clint Miller, crap. Steelers beat the Lions. That means the Ravens need to run the table. I watched the Eagles game yesterday with the girlfriend, and the Eagles won, so that was good. Indie Phantom, what's with these Knicks? We need Saint Nick. Exactly. This is pretty crazy. Former Nickelodeon star found homeless in upsetting viral video. So this guy was this kid back in the day. So another child star. Oof, he looks to be in rough shape. That's awful. So I guess they're trying to raise money for him. Get him help. Oh, remember this story? There was the American Idol exec and his wife, or her husband. She was the exec and he was just the husband. They both got gunned down by apparently a junkie. Oh my God. I guess he's been committed to a state hospital. There's Nicki Minaj trying to work it. Elon Musk failed SpaceX launch, left airliners in danger after rocket suddenly exploded, according to a report. Okay. Not sure what that's going to do to my Tesla stock. I had to get me some SpaceX stock when it when it drops. This is not financial advice. Trans Muslim killer tries to skip sentencing for executing parents, then makes excuse for murdering them. Wow. Do we even need to cover this? I mean, a trans Muslim killer? You can't be trans and Muslim. The Muslims won't accept you. I'm not sure how the trans would accept you either. Plus, you're a murderer, so that sounds really, really bad. That all sounds bad. What else? Don't care about that. Most Americans will see above average temperatures Christmas temps, with some states nearing record highs. I hate snow. Let me say for the record, I hate snow. I hate it in all forms. I never want to see it again. So glad. We had snow here in South Jersey. We got about 6 or 7 inches before Christmas. And that was the first time, I think in about 10 years, that we got snow before Christmas. Now it looks like we're clear sailing for a while. I hope we get none for the rest of the year and into 2026. But we'll see. Weezer's bassist's estranged wife breaks silence on being shot by cops and painful divorce. Oh, I guess she survived being shot by the cops. Well, that is a red flag. No wonder she's divorced. Indie Phantom, Snow is the greatest Canadian rap idol. Let's see. Supermodel 28 diagnosed with congenital defect that's destroying her lungs. Oh no, that sounds awful. So many crazy, rare defects or conditions that people have, and they just, every once in a while you hear one of these stories and you just go, what did people do in medieval times, right? I guess they just died. Something like this. Just like, what happened to your daughter? Don't know. She just up and died. No reason. Like, it's just amazing that every people are so uniquely different on many different levels, including their like health. I feel so bad for her. I mean, it just, like everything else, if you got your health, you have everything. But man, that sucks. 28 to be dealing with that. Eagle Eye ESPN shows Prawn Star cheering on Miami during CFP game, and fans took quick notice. She's a prawn girl? Okay. Not a huge fan of that face. Just saying. How SNL paid tribute to Rob Reiner, one of the show's first hosts after his tragic death. I didn't remember him hosting the show. That would make sense. He was a pretty big sitcom star back then. And there's Penny Marshall in the background. I assume she was on the show with him. I probably saw that episode, but I don't remember it. How things have changed. Bruce Willis' wife feeling mix of grief ahead of Christmas as actor battles dementia. Ah, poor guy. We miss you, Bruce. I'm glad he has family, though, to take care of him. He can no longer do activities he used to do over the holidays. Aw. It's a shame. You think they would have something to save him, but again, it's all about your health. Alex Ogle, it's not the face you look at, Tony. You don't look at the mantelpiece when stoking the fire. I see. You have a point. You have a good point. But, I mean, still. John Lennon's son worries Gen Z is forgetting the Beatles and the music that made his dad famous. Well, that's inevitable, dude. Someday the Beatles will be like classical music to people. Ionisys. I remember Landshark on SNL. I loved Landshark. Landshark. What? Who? Who's at the door? Landshark. I just love the way Chevy hesitated. You know, like he wasn't sure what to say. But sometimes he say Landshark. Sometimes he lie and be like, pizza delivery. Ah. Ho ho whoa. Trio provides belly laughs with kooky annual mall Santa photos. That is very kooky. Indie Phantom. Landshark was nuts. Alexander Ogle. I confess that the older I get, the more I dislike the Beatles. I just don't get the draw. The Kinks were much better. I like both, but I mean, you can get sick of the Beatles after a while. Problem with the Beatles is now it's almost like baby music. It's kind of like Shakespeare, right? When you hear some lines from Shakespeare that are they sound like cliches, and you go, oh, there's a cliches, and then you realize, no, that's the first time, that's where the cliche comes from. It's kind of like the Beatles. Indie Phantom. Chevy and Richard Pryor. Oh, I remember that sketch. Say the first word that comes into your mind. My favorite, though, is still the Samurai. I love Belushi's Samurai. And Samurai Night Fever is just the absolute pinnacle. That is the pinnacle. With O.J. Simpson as the guest. I can watch that every day, and it makes me smile. I miss John Belushi, too. Teens are drinking and smoking less, nerds. But more are using these two highly dangerous drugs. Now you're cool. No, that's not cool. I'm just goofing around. Indie Phantom. Yeah, I don't like the Beatles, mostly because of John, Paul, Ringo, George, and Yoko. Yeah, just those. Alex Ogle. Mind you, the Beatles are still infinitely superior to John Lennon's solo output. Pure socialism. Well, what about Yoko's solo albums? Ionisys. Message redacted. Oh, you're getting it. You're sending me some spicy stuff, Ionisys. Apparently. Cash Patel says FBI boosting AI use key component to countering domestic and global threats. Yeah, I can't wait until the AI hallucinates and tells you to raid my house, Cash. What the F, dude? Do not use AI. Please do not let the FBI use AI. That sounds like it's going to be a disaster. Oh yeah, the Bondi thing happened this week. The Bondi Beach massacre is very terrible. It was a rough week. And in response, don't worry, the Australians are going to make you even more defenseless. They're going to take even more of your guns away, somehow. Somehow the people at Bondi Beach weren't defenseless enough. But don't worry, the Australian PM this time will make sure more people will be killed next time. Don the Second is here. Sup, chat? Sup, Don the Second? Welcome back. Oh my God. Madonna, 67, goes makeup free to celebrate Hanukkah with much younger boyfriend and kids. Okay. Can we stop this? Maybe it's a joke. I mean, it's 6-7. Your dog news is here. Man, everybody's here tonight. Hey, I get to be here at my actual computer tonight. Nice. Alex Ogle, more bigots join the chat at Don the Second. Welcome. Indie Phantom. Next week is Chevy Chase. Last week was an awesome show on Bill Murray. Bill Murray's great too. It's funny to watch the early SNLs because Bill Murray's kind of not in a lot of stuff. until later. Then like Chevy leaves, and then he gets to be in more stuff, it seems. Todd the second, bruh. LMFAO. Laflau. Indie Phantom. Madonna Permacringe. Your dog's news. Oh, Zebek's demise. I always forget. Hello, Zebek. I gotta get off of Madonna. Oof. Don't care about SNL today. Weird Science star Kelly LeBrock, remember her? Reveals why she quit LA to live as a recluse on a rural ranch. I gave up diamonds for dirt. I liked Kelly LeBrock back in the day. She looks alright for her age. I mean, she's 65. That's pretty good for 65, I think. I'm 59. Leave me alone. Let's see, do we have any more pictures of Kelly? Oh, there she is with a horsey. Having a good time. She's got apparently some kind of panther. Oh, she's getting naked. I think that's her back in the day, yeah. She was a smoke show back in the day. There she is with Steven Seagal before he ate half of America and became a giant waddling menace. So, Alex Ogle, Madonna looks like she could use some more pineapple on her pizza where it belongs. No! Indie Phantom. The doc on Belushi was also good. Need to see Andy Kaufman and John Candy docs. I hear the John Candy one is really good. That one that Ryan Reynolds helped produce. At Store Bang. She comes into the store at work from time to time. Kelly LeBrock? That's cool. Alex Ogle, movie pitch. Eyes Wide Shut, recast with Sydney Sweeney. We can leave out much of the plot and have her parading around in the All Together. That sounds good to me. That sounds like a green light. All right, let's go over to That Park Place. Third, Avatar, down nearly 40% in ticket sales versus The Way of Water in opening weekend, which I assume you're talking about domestic only. Indie Phantom, Vanessa Angel was her hot replacement in the Weird Science TV series. Don't remember her. Let's see. Vanessa Angel. Let's take a look at her. Oh, wait. I better not click that. Let's see. Not bad. I guess this is more current. Maybe that's back in the day. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't see this. I got it on the wrong side. Screw it. Let's just move on. Indie Phantom, Eyes Wide Open. Zebek's Demise. There was a TV series? Indie Phantom, she is in Kingpin. Oh, yeah, okay. Now I remember her. Alex Ogle, F's sake, Tony. If you're going to look up these ladies, then move your mug out of the way. Yeah, sorry. I just realized that. Don the Second, she's got a lot of spicy pics, man. LOL. Yeah, no, I gotta be careful on that one. She might be an OnlyFans girl now or something. Might get blasted here. More on the Indie Game Awards to strip Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 of the Game of the Year Awards. I don't understand the controversy other than it sounds like the game isn't woke and that all of video games are trying to destroy them. Indie Phantom, yes, series ran 3 seasons. 3 seasons, wow. Supergirl trailer receives more backlash in 24 hours than Superman did in 6 months. Ooh, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. Truth, justice, whatever. Currently has 36 million views. That's a lot of views. 578,000 likes and an estimated 21,000 dislikes. That was for Superman. Supergirl has 373,000 likes, 43,000 dislikes. Roughly 1 in 8 negative reactions. Alexander Ogle. I was watching a video on missing scenes from Logan's Run. Jenny a Gutter was real hot sauce back in the 70s. All right. Let's try. Now, we can't get in trouble with Jenny because she's a 70s hottie and she wasn't around for OnlyFans. So, all right. Yeah, I could see that. There you go. There you go. She's a cutie. Now, this is probably her today. Here. Indie Phantom. Time to 86 and Batgirl the Supergirl flick. It's too late. They'll never do that. They will never do that. No way. Don the Second. Got to catch her on the center fold. L.M. Lamau. LaFau, I should say. Indie Phantom. It's Superwoman, ma'am. Alex Ogle. My hope for 2026 is fewer superhero films. I don't know if they're even ready for that. They've got nothing to transition to. What are they going to transition to? Okay, they give up superheroes. For what? For what? Now, they could go back to the basics, which would mean love stories, maybe westerns, a couple of thrillers, some action. I mean, there's one genre I think they need to go back to sort of set things right with the entire run of their movies. Every studio needs to do, every year, at least 3 or 4 comedies, or like a percentage of comedies in their lineup. Because they are kind of doing comedy. What movie came out? There was some trailer that came out, but it wasn't promoted as a comedy by itself. It was like comedy, thriller, drama. They added like extra things to it. Oh, it was Jason Biggs. I can't think of the name of it now. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Alex. If there's a cape, I am out. Zebek. The transition to the Pineys. They can transition to the Pineys. Yeah. God willing, one day. Let me see. Jason Biggs has a new movie. What the hell is it? I just watched it today. Wait, we'll go to the IMDb. It'll be on that. Now, Jason Biggs, you'll remember from American Pie movies. He looks exactly the same. Okay, yeah, this is the new trailer here. It's a weird title. It's called The Untitled Home Invasion Romance. Which, if this was made in the early 2000s or before, they would have just called it a comedy. And the premise is, see, they got comedy, romance, thriller. See, they're stealth delivering the comedy. Because the premise is a last-ditch attempt to save his failing marriage. An actor stages a home invasion during a romantic getaway. So, what happens is he stages this with his friend. So his friend's supposed to raid the house. And, like, I guess he's supposed to save his wife. And then, like, he saves his marriage because his wife is so grateful. But there's some kind of screw-up, and his friend goes too early or too late to rob the house. And his wife kills him. But she also doesn't know him. So she doesn't know it's a setup. And now Jason Biggs has to cover his tracks because his friend is dead. So then the brother of his friend, it turns out, is a real gangster. and finds out his brother's dead and now is coming to avenge him. And I guess he doesn't really know them, but it looks pretty funny. But they're not presenting it as a funny movie. They're presenting it as some sort of crazy thriller. Yeah, I can't keep it on there or else. I like the poster a little bit too. It's kind of old school. But Jason Biggs directs it. But he didn't write it, which good for him. So maybe he got some really real comedy writers on this thing. Indie Phantom. Jason Biggs, my dad, saw him on stage during The Graduate with Kathleen Turner back in the day. Oh, wow. That sounds like a funny matchup. Wow. Because he's the right, or he was the right age. He kind of vaguely looks like Dustin Hoffman. And Kathleen Turner would be, the right age for Mrs. Robinson. Oh, man, I wish I'd seen that. That sounds pretty funny. Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? That's a great flick if you haven't seen The Graduate. That's funny, though. With Kathleen Turner, I could totally see that. Kathleen Turner would yeah. Like, you would have had to catch Kathleen Turner before she got heavy. Because it would be perfect if she was just before she got super heavy. I don't know if she lost the weight. She may have lost it. Indie Phantom, yeah, was around 2001. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Because that would have been, she still would have been kind of famous. For some reason, Kathleen Turner just dropped off the radar for some insane reason. She was like A-list, and then they cut her off. Indie Phantom, The Graduate owns. Good movie. Yeah, it really is. Good music, good soundtrack too. That is that has Simon and Garfunkel on the soundtrack. But yeah, this looks like a comedy, but I think they're stealth delivering it. I mean, comedy is first, but it's romance and thriller too. See, they could sell it as a romance and thriller, and when you look at the trailer, it feels more like a thriller with a little bit of comedy, like they're trying to hide the comedy, but you could also see them recutting the trailer, lightening up the music, and totally making it a farce, because it looks like a farce. Because at one point, this is from the trailer, in the movie, and he's obviously covering it up with, telling these cops a story, and he asked them something like, well, you're never going to find this guy, right? Because he doesn't want them to find out it was his friend. And the cop goes, oh, don't worry. Once we find his car, then we'll know who he is. And so it cuts to a scene of Biggs trying to push the car into a lake. And then he rolls it into a lake, but he slips and he falls into the water. And then the car rolls, but the lake isn't deep enough to hide the car. So it looks like it could be a lot of fun. All right. So, yeah. What was I on? All right, Geeks and Gamers. I started looking at these guys. Alex Ogle. Who would have guessed that the Kathleen Turner from Romancing the Stone and Moonlighting would turn into Hillary Clinton? Yeah. Yeah, she was hot back in the day. Back in the day, she was a smoke show. And she had that really good voice, too. Let's see. Yeah, now she's gained some weight, but let's see, 80s. I don't think you'll find a bikini of her. She wasn't a bikini type. Let me see. Yeah, this is her back in the day. That's a before and after shot. That's kind of rude. Let's see. All right, this is a pretty good pic of her from back in the day. She's super hot. There she's, being old Hollywood. That's her back in the day. But Father Time comes for us all. But not me. I still look great. All right, what else we got here? All the same things. Godzilla and Gap Japan collaboration, new hoodies and apparel. Okay. And that's about it at G&G, so nothing there. Let's wrap up with Breitbart. More on Nicki Minaj. Massive San Francisco power outage leaves 130,000 homes and businesses in the dark. How's anybody going to even notice? I mean, at least you won't be able to see the human feces on the street. You can just walk right through it now. Oh, I think I stepped in mud. Ugh. Dave Chappelle is finally getting political. Apparently, he mocked people comparing Charlie Kirk to MLK Jr., which, I don't know, that just sounds like Dave making a joke. It may be that the Charlie Kirk defenders are a little too sensitive, but he's said a few other things that are kind of political, which I'm getting worried about him. I like this headline. James Cameron threatens another Terminator movie if Avatar 3 bombs. I'll show you. I'll make another Terminator movie. I don't know. If he made one, I'd probably go see it. If he could recapture, Terminator 2 kind of style, right? But the rumor is now he wants to make a Terminator movie without Arnold. Like, Arnold won't be in it at all. Which I can't blame him because, like, why even use Arnold to this point? He's too old. He's supposed to be timeless. He's supposed to be a robot. I assume with AI they could do it, and they kind of already have done it once or twice. I don't think you can cut Arnold completely out of the thing. I think you get Patrick Schwarzenegger to do it. I think he bulked up. James Carville saying something nasty about Charlie Kirk. Don't care. Oh, this was a big story this week. Failing Oscars demoted to YouTube. Now, this won't be until 2029. To which I say, why? Why wait? I mean, you're going to keep running this thing into the ground for another 3 years? 4 years? Yeah, 4 years? No, wait. It would be 3. Because it'll be 2026, 2027, 2028, and then YouTube. So 3. Yeah, you should put it on right now. Right now. The only thing I can think of is ABC has a contract and they're just going to run it out. But in which case, why even announce it? But at least if you made it a surprise, people might be like, oh. Now the question is, how is YouTube going to screw this up? Are they going to make people pay for it? Because I don't know who would do that, especially on YouTube, but I assume there's a tiny group of people who would pay that money. Seems like you just want the views, YouTube. You somehow make money on clicks. Just put commercials on it like you always do. So it could be financially successful in that respect, right? And then if you cut up the various awards into shorter clips and did do a supercut, those would all make money too, wouldn't they? Aren't they making money on clicks? Aren't they supposed to be making money on clicks? I would rather watch it that way because I don't want to see this whole friggin' thing. It's boring and stupid. I just want to know who won, and I want to make fun of it. I want to make my Oscar predictions. This year, I don't even know if I should bother. I mean, it's going to be like Sinners and everything else that I didn't see. Well, I saw Sinners, but a lot of stuff, who could see all these movies? I mean, if you paid me, if you want me to judge the Oscars for you, then I'll go watch the movies. And then I'll be like, why did you nominate this crap? Let's see. Country megastar Jelly Roll, who cares, gets full pardon for past drug and robbery charges. Just goes to show, if you're famous enough, you get away with anything. Operation Song. Director shares how helping veterans tell their stories through music is saving lives and blessing families. That's nice for Christmas. Disney's Avatar director James Cameron trashes Trump for not panicking over climate change, most narcissistic a-hole in history. Really? You're going to call him narcissistic? Okay. All right. I guess you can. Netflix cancels LGBTQ-themed military series Boots after one season following Pentagon calling it woke garbage. You mean nobody wanted to see a gay Marine TV show? How could that be? What about the Marines? Oh, right. Oh, what about the gay people? Oh, right. Oh, what about normal people who aren't Marines or gay? Oh, right. Yeah, nobody wants it. Who is the show for? Who's the show for? Gay Marines. Like 10 people on the planet want to see that show. Like 10. Like an audience of 10. Yeah, let's greenlight that. What next? What next? Let's see. Let's make a movie. Let's make a TV series about a doctor who punches people in the face. That sounds good. It doesn't sound like a lot of people want to see a show about a doctor who punches people in the face. I bet less than 10 people want to see it. I think you may be right. Kamala Harris struggles to explain to Jimmy Kimmel why Biden was right not to push the DOJ to release the Epstein files. When I was back in the day a kid and somebody ran for president and they lost, even if they had been president, you didn't hear anything from them for a long time. And when they resurfaced years later, maybe they wrote a book, maybe they were on the news, but they weren't on talk shows. They just weren't on talk shows. There was no reason to have them on because talk shows were supposed to be entertaining. They were supposed to have actors on because they had movies, they were in movies or TV shows that were entertaining. They weren't pathetic losers who have no business running for office, who are being propped up by an establishment who just won't let it go. You can't let this go. And this is why you're not funny or entertaining anymore. I have older relatives who watched Jimmy Kimmel, and now even they don't watch him. Even they can't stand it. They've quietly just stopped watching. There's just no reason. Why would you watch this? Who said, oh boy, we got Kamala Harris wants to come on the show. Oh yeah. For what? To talk again how she should have, I don't know, blamed somebody else for all her problems? She actually blamed the Biden administration that she's not president. In so many words. Oh yeah, it's not that she has no policy, no capability to debate or articulate a point. Oh, it's the Biden administration that messed it up. It's insane. And Jimmy Kimmel thought, yes, this is the person America wants to see again. I can't understand why his show was nearly canceled. Whoopi Goldberg, Trump giving military checks so they do what he wants. Newsflash, everybody. Oops. Sorry, I missed all your witty comments. I got caught up. Um, I have to back up now. I was wondering why you guys. I was wondering why you guys got quiet all of a sudden. Then I realized, oh my God, I covered up all the comments. All right, Alexander Ogle. Who would have guessed that Kathleen Turner from Romancing the Stone and Moonlighting would turn into Hillary Clinton? Okay, I think that's the one I stopped on. I love the first scene of her in War of the Roses where she's braless in a rainstorm. Clint Miller. You look great, Tony. I attended UMBC when Kathleen Turner did. University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Oh, neat. Was she hot then? I bet she was a smoke show then. Indie Phantom. Moonlighting wasn't Turner. That was Sybil Shepherd. That's correct. That's right. Alex Ogle. Acknowledging Indie Phantom's point. Indie Phantom. Crimes of Passion. Hot Turner. Oscars with Conan. Avoid the after party. Oh, man. Oh. Oofa. Indie Phantom. 10 Oscar movies to watch. Boots, LOL. Got booted to the curb. Do we have 10 to watch on this list somewhere? I'll find it. Alex Ogle. It's not about the audience, Tony. How bourgeois of you. It's about the advocacy and education. The message needs to be got out with the stunning and brave dramas. It's like writing a queer book for children. Not that you'll be able to pronounce it. That's true. Indie Phantom, bring Kamala back for next election, though. That'll be fun. Oh, that will be fun. Now, where's this list you mentioned? Was it on here? Did I scroll past it? Yeah, I don't say it. There was a list back on the wrap. What was it? 10 Oscar movies. Oh, 10 Oscar movies is too much. Oh, I thought you meant there was a list. All right. Indie Phantom. There will be 10 stunning and brave nominees. Do we have nominees yet? Oscar nominees 2025. Let's see. Oh, I guess we do. All right, let's see the nominees. Here we go. Actor. Nope, this is last year. Yeah, no nominees yet. They will be announced January 23rd. No, wait, that's for 2024 too. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. No, that's for 2024. So we got to wait until January. Tormento Oscar 2026. Let's see. I guess these guys are guessing, but they're all in Spanish. I can't read it. Oscar nominees. Yeah, so we got to go. Oscar nominees 2026. Nominees will be in January, Indie Phantom says. Only Globe so far. What, Alex Ogle, what sounds is Little Jones making in the background? Is she upset because she didn't get her edgy comedy action this stream? Yeah, probably. At Indie Phantom, only Globe sounds like an award ceremony. It might be worthy of streaming. Indie Phantom, yes, indeed, Alex. Oh, here's some list. This is the short list. So this is speculation from the AI. All right, so Best Picture. So these aren't official. Best Picture, Avatar, Fire and Ash, Begonia, no. Captain America Brave New World. Come on. You're nominating that? You're pathetic. Diane Warren, Relentless. F1. That one got a lot of good reviews. Frankenstein. Yeah, I heard mixed bag, but I could understand it being nominated. It looks cool, I guess. Hamnet. That was going to be there. Hedda. A House of Dynamite. That was probably going to be there. Jay Kelly. Total Oscar bait. Marty Supreme. Oscar bait. Nuremberg. Oscar bait. One battle after another. If that's not on the list, I mean, somebody really wasted their money. Sinners, of course. Surratt. Train Dreams. That's another one. Tron Ares? I think the AI is hallucinating. Truth and Treason. Wake Up Dead Man. A Knives Out mystery. No way. And Wicked for Good. I don't know, maybe. Best Director. Paul Thomas Anderson. One battle after another. Yeah, he's definitely going to be on the list. Ryan Coogler, Sinners. I think he wins, probably. Chloe Zhao, Hamnet? You really gonna... This woman directed Eternals, and now you're gonna give her an Oscar? No way. Joaquin Trier, Sentimental Value, possibly. And Jafar Panahin, It Was Just an Accident. Interesting. I still got to see that movie. That does look cool. Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, of course. One battle after another. He might win it there. They've been like itching to give him something. Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. There's a good buzz about him. Timothy Chalamet. He's too young, but Marty Supreme. Definitely can get a nom. Michael B. Jordan, also too young. Sinners. George Clooney for Jay Kelly. I don't think so. I mean, he's about the age. He's getting up there, but did that movie do anything? Did it even come out yet? When does Jay Kelly hit theaters? It's already out. It came out? God, I don't even remember this coming out. November 14th? You're telling me this is going to win an Oscar? No way. No, and I just screwed everything up. Where the hell is the list I had? Wait a minute. I screwed up my list. There we go. Hopefully the AI gives me the same exact list. And it did not. Thanks. Thanks, AI. What's this one? Oh wait, here's one for the 98th Oscars. All right, this is the short list. It was probably what the AI copped it from. I don't care about animated short film, casting, cinematography, all the ones you'd imagine, documentary, nobody cares, international film, live action short film, makeup, hairstyling. Come on. Sorry. I should have clicked a different way. Chloe Zhao already won Best Director for Nomadland. Also Best... Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. Jake Kelly is a Netflix movie. Been out for a while. Let's see if I can get this list one more time. What? I don't want this. One more time. Did I get it? There it is. Got it back. Okay. Best Actress. Jessie Buckley. Hamnet. Maybe. Chase Infinity. One battle after another. I guess that's the girl in it. Probably not. Renate Renziv, Sentimental Value, maybe. Cynthia Erivo, Wicked for Good, probably. Emma Stone, Begonia, nah. Supporting actor, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another. He did look good in that. That was the one good thing in that movie, from the trailer anyway. Stellan Skarsgård, sentimental value. He looked good in that too. Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Doubtful? I don't think so. Paul Mescal and Hamnet, and Adam Sandler and Jay Kelly. Nah, I don't think it's time for him. Best Supporting Actress. Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Amy Madigan, Weapons. Probably. They got to give Weapons something. Why isn't Weapons under Best Picture? I mean, I didn't think it was that great, but surprised it's not nominated. But these aren't official. Ariana Grande and Wicked for Good. No. Inga Ibsada, I can't even pronounce that name. Sentimental Value, and Haley Stanfield for Sinners. I am, as you know, Italian. So the big day for us, for the family, is Christmas Eve. We do most of our stuff on Christmas Eve. We're doing the Feast of the Seven Fishes, as always. And I'll be going to one of my relatives' house. And I'm going to a party with my girlfriend on the 23rd. So that's going to be nice. So I got a week of fun, assuming my car repair goes well tomorrow. Indie Phantom, suck ass. The Oscars will be done before they hit YouTube. Yeah. And then Christmas Day, I think we opened some gifts. I still have like one gift to get. And what the hell else? I got something else on the thing. What did I write? I can't read my own damn handwriting. I got something going on at noon. Why do I have something going on at noon? Do I have something going on at noon tomorrow? Because I am so screwed. I got to go get my car. If I do. No. Okay. Whatever that is, it's something I have to do personally that I wrote on my calendar. And I can't read my own damn handwriting. Something happens at noon. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, that's not happening anymore. All right. Whew. All right. Yes, so I am done for 2025, I think. I think it'll be nearly impossible to get me out to tell you about the Jersey Devil until 2026. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, you'll have to wait until 2026 to hear the story of the Jersey Devil. Storebang. Wait, you got a girlfriend? Yes, I do. I nearly didn't have one last week, but now she's back. So all is well. So yeah, I got a party on the 23rd. I got Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And should be a fun holiday if I can get all my gifts in a row. That's always the trouble when you're broke, is getting enough gifts for people. Like my go-to move, and you've seen this in the Pineys because this is Hemingway's go-to move. If you're really broke, the move is make everybody cookies, because it's relatively cheap to make cookies, and everybody loves chocolate chip cookies, unless they got some sort of allergy or something. So sometimes on some years, I just make everybody cookies and give them cookies. But this year I didn't have to make cookies, so I actually bought people stuff. So I got to wrap it. So that's probably what I'll be doing Monday, and a couple other things I need to do. So I'm off. I'm off for the rest of the year. But next week is the 27th and 28th. I got nothing going on. So we'll be doing a live stream where we'll do it live. So I hope you guys, I won't see you until next week, but you'll see me in my videos. So I hope you guys have a great Christmas. And I hope you have somewhere to go and someone to talk to. If you're pissed off at your relatives, maybe forgive them this holiday season and give them a call. Make sure you call your parents if you still got your parents around, or some relatives or some friends or someone. Don't be alone during the holidays. I would advise be with someone or call someone, at least talk to people, and get out there. And next week, doing the live stream. I'll have nothing else to do all those days, so I'll be doing videos. Oh yeah, and hopefully it won't snow. What have we learned this week? Oh, we forgot to do that. We learned the Oscars suck. We learned James Gunn sucks. We learn that the box office sucks. We learn that Avatar sucks. I think I'm noticing a pattern. Speaking of noticing, we learn Nick Fuentes sucks. We learn mostly things suck, except for SpongeBob. At least SpongeBob is out, and that can give us some solace in this holiday season. So that's it for me. Indie Phantom, get into a political debate with the fam. No, do not do that. That is bad advice. Bad advice. It's the worst advice ever. Yeah. I used to do that. We used to do that for fun in my family. You know, just to needle people. Now we can't do that. So we've completely boycott politics. Indie Phantom, we learned that there aren't 10 good Rob Reiner movies. Sadly, I think that's true. But he tried. He tried. I mean, he tried to make a sequel to Spinal Tap. I think it was just too late. I think if he had made that 20 years ago, it probably would have been pretty good. It would have been before everything went crazy. Still at a time when comedies were coming out. People would have remembered Spinal Tap, and the guys in the band would have been young enough to kind of pull it off, you know? Comedy is a young man's game. It really is. It's really tough to be funny when you're old. Or you got to really, man, you just got to be on top of that game. You got to be on top of the zeitgeist. You can't let things bother you. You know, the older you get, the more sentimental you get, they say, and things will bother you. You kind of got to let that go if you still want to do comedy, because that's what young guys do, right? Nothing bothers young guys. They're not bothered by anything. What do they care? They just let it roll off and then go on to the next thing. They're still making all the mistakes that pissing people off, and they don't care. They just blow through it. Then when they get older, they start looking back and they go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I pissed that guy off or that guy off. You can't do that when you're doing comedy. Kind of got to not give an F. Indie Phantom, Spinal Tap 2, not money. Yeah, no bueno. It's a sad way to end his career, I think. But what are you going to do? All right. I'll wrap it here. See you guys next week. Merry Christmas. Indie Phantom, it was theatrical too. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Have a good holiday, and we'll see you in the next one. Store Bang. Merry Christmas, everyone.